doing announcement post-its. Yes, indeed. Oh, I forgot to copy that into Discord. I'm a banana. Yes, it's true, kitty. Yes. The cat's just meowing at me, like, I want attention. Yes,
Wow.
it's very true.
Wow.
Um, so, now that we are the live, who would like to give the recap for inspiration, as I have an ad on my channel?
Nice.
Nice. I normally have it set to
All
mute,
right.
so I don't have that popping up. Apparently I forgot to do that.
Okay. So I'll sure I'll go ahead and do it. I'll see if I can get anywhere even close. If I recall, we had. God, was it not the session that we only just set out? I believe it was. You know what? I remember. So we had engaged in a battle against some thylacines, including one superior one, which we still dealt with relative ease, very little casualties or harm to our party. We had thereafter, used our scouting techniques, including the annoying bird, to find out there was a den nearby, which we searched, but found nothing, unfortunately. Though we did find a game path to make it easier to go back there if we so wish. We then arrived shortly thereafter with no other interruptions at Oleg's outpost here, trading outpost, where we had a lovely conversation with the gentleman at length about various doings in the areas, various uh, forces and dangers that we may encounter, as well as various tasks he would like us to perform for different levels of rewards. Um, the most noteworthy parts of those, not to just gloss over everything, because I feel like that's a little cheap, but the most important part, I think, is that the fact they have a relationship with one of the bandits. I don't remember the woman's name. I apologize. It's somewhere. But I believe it was sister to Svetlana, if I
Half
recall.
sister.
Yes. Okay. Well, there you go. Okay. So they have a direct relationship with one of them, and perhaps it would be best to not absolutely just, lamb to the slaughter sort of deal. I think that's the idea. But I believe there was also already plans to do things other than just go out and cull the herd, as it were. Uh, we learned a little bit more about some resources as well, such as those magical mushrooms. I believe they're mushrooms. Let me
Radishes.
think. Radishes. You're right. I have it written down. Well, I'm pretty sure I have it written down.
Blue radishes.
I thought I had written down. Okay. Where did I? Is it in here? No, I don't know where. I swear to God, I wrote this down. But yes, the moon radishes. They were in fact blue, and I recognize them because they are actually hailed from the Feywilds. Um, Other than that, I don't think there was anything specific. Uh, I could go into details about each task we were given, but I'd rather not take up any more time. I think
Fair enough.
that's yeah.
It was a solid recap indeed, and you have earned your inspiration. You guys
Yeah.
return, having finished your most recent conversation with Svetlana and Oleg, with the knowledge that the bandits should be arriving the next day or the day thereafter. Oh, you have some time to prepare, some time to ask questions, sometimes to do whatever the fuck you want to do, really. Or you can, just ignore the bandits showing up. Up to you. The Stolen Lands is open for your exploration.
Indeed.
Yes, my cat refuses to not be pet right now, as they're just purring up a storm. I don't know if you can hear her purrs.
No.
Yeah.
It's really
Sadly.
loud. I can hear it over my headset.
Not to distract any further, is there a place to put inspiration on the sheet and I'm just blind?
I
Or no?
believe the sheet itself has an inspiration spot. Nope, I made that custom for my
Right.
sheet.
Oh, there's custom for your sheet?
Yeah, it was custom for my sheet.
Okay.
How dare you?
Yep. I just added a little extra 3 check boxes in the same box as core information.
Alright, well.
Yeah.
I believe. Where's the map? Where's the map? Sunrise, there we go. I believe the initial plan is to do a little bit of exploration today and tomorrow. Because we believe we have approximately in 3 days to do the show up at any time.
Yep.
So,
There's a unknown time limit, but you know it's between 1 and, as Oleg says it, 2 days. Potentially 3 if they're being particularly lazy.
is that including today or no? Because we got here partway through the day.
That is looking at my notes. Bound campaign, bandit, serial. That is not including today, because you guys arrived early.
So they shouldn't arrive tomorrow. They shouldn't.
They shouldn't, unless something crazy happens. But you guys know that they can arrive from anywhere from the 23rd to the 24th in most likely case. Potentially the 25th if something happens that slows them down.
Do we know our overland speed if you were to want to go to, for example, Spider's Den?
Well, if you're wide ahead of the Spider's Den, if you look at your fancy faction tracker on your loot sheet, there is a listing of everyone's overland travel speed. You guys' travel speed is 19 miles per day.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hustle to increase that.
Yeah. However, we're not equipped to handle that yet.
You sure you don't want to get swarmed by spiders?
I was, in character, Ilfrin would definitely be against that.
I just want to gauge our movement speed across
We could get there in a day. Yeah, we could get there in probably a day, but I don't think it's.
As you guys pour over your map, I'm gonna put you guys on the map.
Ah!
Okay.
I was wondering, was there an indication of where the bandits might be coming from, like the south, the southeast? Was it said?
Well, you know that they've always come from the western road into Oleg's. But they come from the Gnarl Marches somewhere from that location, as Oleg did spot them from a higher elevation and saw them coming from the tree line.
And this, for setting precedent, what is the rough time it takes to search a hex? Like to count it as explored?
The rough time to search a hex would be effectively at, I'm just looking at my notes, I'm pretty sure it's half of your overland travel speed for the day of searching a single hex.
Okay.
So you can still move around the area, but you would essentially only be able to move for your guys' group 9.5 miles instead of 19. And you wouldn't be able to hustle.
Well, honestly,
I'll make sure though.
I think this. I need a pointer. Hold on. I need a pointer. That hex that just pointed at. I think we should explore that and do some hunting to get some extra coats and stuff for the tribute as part of our plan to draw them into a conversation. And we need to explore the area anyway, so. Any other ideas?
Ilfrin has no problem with that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just look at this hex or the hex over. See, we can predict where they're exactly gonna come in and set up traps. That's what Ardor would do.
All right. So
Uh,
you
Yeah, I
guys
mean,
wish to? Yeah.
no, go ahead.
searching the surrounding area and maybe finding some reagents or the stuff to create like potions would be nice.
Potions and traps.
I think it would be good to use the day for something instead of just sitting around inside.
But yeah, so I think we're going to explore the southern hex.
Very good. Very good. So,
Sure.
in that case, for you guys is to explore the area, I will need survival from one key individual who can receive up to 2 aids, as well as nature from one key individual who can receive up to 2 aids. And there's any of the other key skills that would be required for my exploration for this particular hex.
I have a knowledge nature bonus of 4 and a survival bonus of 6. I'm also technically our scout. Not scout, but actually no, I kind of am. I forget. Yeah, I can be a scout.
You guys can also suggest alternative skills as you are free to do so. And I might be able to provide additional information with said skills, but those would be up to player intuition. But the key ones are nature and survival for exploring hexes.
Okay. I can assist on survival.
I can also assist in survival.
All right, I'll roll survival then as the main person with 2 assists. How much of a bonus do I get? I believe Lexo affects that. I'm sorry, not
I
actually
give
his
her
character's name. Nasir.
Nasi.
Nasir. I don't know why did I say Nasir. Anyways, whatever. Nasir.
Let me double check. I believe I give her +3.
So you give +3 and he gives a +1, or is it
Yeah.
2?
1.
1. That's what I thought. I knew it was like significant difference. And do you guys need to
Yeah, we need to
roll? Yep. Okay.
Boop. I
I believe
don't know what
DC's
the
probably gonna be
DC.
low enough.
I mean,
We'll
yeah,
see.
the DC is the base DC -10.
Mhm.
So I don't.
Okay.
If it's higher than an 18, I
Now,
think.
you guys are in the green belt. The DC is pretty low. Unless you roll really
Okay.
bad, you guys should hit the ADC, no problem.
Well, this +4. All right, 13. Enjoy the 3 and knowledge nature. Do I have assist on that as well or no?
Well, from my knowledge, does anyone actually have that? 'Cause I don't know off the top of my head, actually.
I have
don't.
nature.
I don't have it trained, but I have lores like plants and that sort of stuff. So
Might be more generic than that, unfortunately.
yeah.
I'm just gonna roll it because it doesn't sound like anybody has it. So
Yeah,
there
I
we
would
go.
just roll it.
It's okay. That's the
Very
roll I
cool.
rolled well on.
All
I
right.
don't have it yet.
So,
There we go.
with my rolls of 9 plus 4, so 13 survival and an 18 nature, as you're beginning to explore the region that kind of surrounds Oleg's trading post, more accurately, borders Oleg's trading post, you notice that the area itself is somewhat hilly. There's plenty of rocky outcroppings, especially closer to Oleg's you get. And there's intermittent trees and even a bit of a small outlying forest at the edge of the gnarl marches to the southwest, as well as a loose gathering of woods to the east, where you know that Oaken's hut somewhere lies within that hex. But you can see the edge of the forest. As you're exploring the area, it takes you some time, but while you're not able to really find any signs or trails or things of that nature that would indicate that this place is heavily filled with game or anything of that nature, likely due to the close proximity to what is essentially the only portion of civilization in this region, besides a few key locations that you are unaware of. Looking around the hex, you are able to find some wild herbs and even a few mushrooms along the way. These key patches can be used as, for the most part, a place for the herbs as a harvest point. One could turn into a seed gathering, or as a place one could begin some form of farmland. It seems the area here is quite fertile and could, supply a farm decently well. As for the mushrooms, though, the mushrooms themselves, you would find that they are, well, not particularly edible, in that they don't taste good, but one could use them as a reagent of sorts. An alchemical one. With an 18, what is my DC for these little buddies? One moment while I go grab the actual DC, because that's not on my my listing. Oh, and change to visible players. Here you are. Feel free, I'm giving you guys ownership, to add information you want on this hex into that hex information. Alright, the DC for these little buddies is... Alright. You would recognize them as a reagent of stealth reagent.
Oh, that's really good.
Nice.
Okay, and did these have a specific name? Forgive me if I missed it.
I didn't mention the name. You would know them as going back to the table. 18 on the nature, yeah, 18 on the nature in this hex is a burnish caps. Burnish cap mushroom.
Just gonna call them stealth shrooms.
That works.
Oh my. Make sure. So.
Probably should add alchemical. Yeah, so that's what you would find.
Okay. Cool. Nice. And so let me.
So there is a small patch there. You can go to harvest it. You could just mark it on your map. It's up to you guys.
Okay. Okay. I do think it would be a good idea to harvest those. The other materials we got, did we have any numbers specifically on those that we can get, or is this just like us scouting the area still? Like we haven't harvested those.
Those herbs, those are for the most part an indication that there is farmland here and it is quite healthy. But they can also be harvested for rations.
Okay. So
And in terms of the location of those, let me go mark those for you guys.
Is somebody already editing the thing he dropped? Because I'm also editing it right now.
I am not editing it.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess it's depends on how long it would take if we have time to do that and do anything else that Nasi would want to do as well. Like I know you said you wanted to try to hunt for pelts here, but it doesn't seem like there's
Well-
much for wildlife.
These mushrooms, is it like a spot they'll regrow if we harvest properly, or is it just one and done type thing?
It is possible for them to be regrown, but you would need to leave some behind to have them be a more continuous source. There's not a lot of them, but there is enough that you think that if you're particularly successful, one could harvest them without harming their regrowth.
Could we replant them elsewhere instead, or is it that this particular spot furnishes their needs adequately
With
and
an
moving them. Yeah.
Yeah, with an 18 nature, looking at the location that they're found, they're at the edge of the wooded area. You would think you need to have a similar environment to be able to keep them healthy.
Okay.
They would need to
They
have.
probably live off the detritus of the leaves falling
Yeah.
from the. Okay. Yeah, I got you. I'm a tree. I understand this shit.
Okay, can Jack with Herbalist, can he tell approximately how many he could harvest?
They can roll me an herbalist check.
Get on it, alchemist boy. I found him. You check that out.
Looking for a token right now. Alchemist.
Nice.
check.
All right, I've added notes to both the herb farm and the Burnish Cat Mushroom Grove, so you guys can click on them when I make them objects. Here we go, and you can now just see what they are.
Nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
Nice.
I
Give him
thought
plus
I
8. It's
rolled-
fine.
I thought I rolled an 11 with a +8. I'm like, what?
All right, with a 19, looking over the. This is for the Burnish Cat Grove, right?
Yeah, the mushrooms.
You think that you'd be able to harvest a total of 3 without harming the grove itself. The grove itself contains 8 harvestable mushrooms.
Big brain. Should we just leave him here for now and come back later? Let them proliferate a bit more.
Better idea. We artificially proliferate them by spreading the grove area right now.
Yeah, but mushrooms don't really work that way.
Question: do they work that way, Sage?
With an 18 nature, these mushrooms do spread via spore puff, though it's not the season for them to actually spread full on.
Okay, so we can't. It's not something we can force right now.
Yeah, if it were specifically autumn or spring, you'd be able to force it okay enough. But it's still winter technically. It's almost spring.
But harvesting them wouldn't affect their. Harvesting just the 3 wouldn't affect their growth rate, or would it be a sincere enough detriment that we wouldn't have even more? Like, would the sparing them now be worth waiting for?
It might be because the more mushrooms, the more that they can then produce.
Yeah.
If you do only go for the 3, it might cause a mild detriment to their growth, but it also would provide you guys some reagents early on.
Okay.
And you know that there is an alchemist in the area other than yourselves who could do downtime stuff potentially for you while you guys are out adventuring.
No, Jack can craft while we travel, even.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have an alchemy kit, Jack, but
I do have an alchemy kit. It would be better to have one that, had stabilized conditions.
yeah, that's fair.
I have a question for the party. How is everyone with stealth? Like, do we need any stealth, like potions or regions, because if everyone's good at stealth, we maybe not need them. But just wondering. Mine is
stealth,
really bad. Just saying.
I mean, okay, so you're not stealthing. That's fine. For people who have stealth, it would help.
Indeed.
Ilfrin has +6.
Yeah, it's really up to you and Jack and as a nature people. But my opinion is it's almost spring already. And we're not going to use them immediately anyway. So if we just wait, like a month or 2 away from spring? If we wait, we could get a lot more use. And by then, we might actually have a use for them.
I see wisdom in that.
sounds like a good idea.
It's not like I have a plan to put them in a potion immediately.
So you do not intend to harvest the mushrooms then?
For now.
Indeed.
Alright.
We're going to leave them for now.
In that case, during the day of travel, there is an encounter check. Just gonna scroll up to go find my my table for this. I'm blind and I don't know where it is.
I'm gonna go back and try to make more macros here.
That's fair. I'm just gonna roll a d100 right now, since I know it's a d100. Alright. Well, within your day of adventure, you wouldn't really notice any threats or anything of major interest besides the things already mentioned. So no encounter, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you see it. The day goes by relatively uneventfully, and night draws forth as you guys are either forced to make camp or travel through the night. Up to you.
We can camp here.
Alright. Begin to set up camp. I will need a survival check to find a good place to set up, as well as to cover the camp so it is not as visible.
All right.
Found it. My encounter table. I found it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, I will to assist you. My
Also-
personnel.
I'll also try to assist.
Excellent. And of course, we'll be assisting the tree, because imagine that. The tree being good at survival.
We'll move the rest, huh?
Oh my
We're
god,
not
what is
really
our
good.
rolls? What is our survival rules, man? Oh my goodness.
Oh
Maybe
my
that's a
god.
14. Mm-hmm.
I'm not using my inspiration on that.
Alright.
If we die, we die.
Well, you do have a 14 survival. The camp itself, you do manage to find a relatively shady location beneath copse of trees. It's not the best spot, but it's at least far enough away from any major open terrain that one could keep it hidden relatively well. It's not the best either, but it'll do the job,
There we go.
hopefully.
Pretty much. That's basically what Ilfrin was looking for. If he could have found
Yeah.
a better spot, that's fine, but he's not going to spend all night doing it.
Indeed.
That's foolish.
All right. For completing the exploration of this hex, you guys have earned. Each hex is worth
Give me,
that much experience.
gimme.
Okay. You guys earn 2 experience.
yeah! I only need 35 more.
Speaking of
I'm
experience,
sorry.
let me go and I remember that you guys have an XP log I gave you. Let me go actually use that.
That's a good idea.
I mean, you have your own calendar for XP log, but you know, so you guys can
Of course.
exploring hex A1. We're gonna call it because it's the first hex you've explored. We're just gonna go from there.
Cool.
Also, a thing that I've updated is your quest list in the party loot sheet. It now
I
lists
did look at
all
that.
the side quests, one quests you guys have, as well as the gold reward or item reward and the experience reward.
That was nice. I noticed that. Thank you.
Yes. You do not know of end dates of any of the bounty posters, simply because other adventurers might be taking them. So, I will tell you that the majority of them are similar to your main quest's end date. But,
So, what you're saying is we're not the only people in the simulation.
yes. I mean, you physically know that there's another adventuring group who was hired on for this.
No, I know.
I
But,
mean, yeah.
You were there. You saw them. That little gnome's a prick.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole.
Kind of.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, Albert has no strong opinions. He just, if he gets put in his place, so be it.
But there you go. Which is why you'll notice on the quest list, your end date, all this is unknown. But your start date lists as when you actually found the quest. right.
Okay.
But your day goes by, no issue, and you are now on the 22nd, I believe.
Happy joy. And so
Mhm.
we don't have anything happen overnight. That's excellent.
Yep, your night went by peacefully.
So the 22nd, I believe, we should work our way this way towards this
okay.
X. Just start exploring this X before looping back to Oleg's. Basically, the hex to the west of us before looping back.
Yeah. As far as hexes available to us, the other three nearby would be a little far, and so I kind of Anyone else have opinions on that, or?
Well, I think getting the exploration done as much as we can is probably a good idea.
Yeah, of course.
Might want to consider trying to get those quests, those side quests done. You know, the
Indeed. It's just the people we wanted to speak to may show up tomorrow, and we believe they're going to come from the west. So if we explore the area a little bit, we might find a basic trail. Not that we should trap it at all, but if the talks go bad and they just up and leave, or we end up in a fight and someone will escape, we will know what direction they're coming from, hopefully.
Okay.
But we should, I don't know if we'll have enough time to explore it completely and get back, but we should give ourselves enough time to get back today. So we're at Oleg's in the morning in case they show up bright and early. We can do what we can.
I'm going to change this one to a PC so it's easier to read the name. Oh no, it has vision. It makes it worse.
That gave us a line of vision.
Yep, I got rid of its vision, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Alright, well, you guys are free to move your party token. You just need to have the 9.5 miles available to you for your token to be able to actually explore Hex. So you can move further than that with your normal movement. But you need that much available to actually explore.
So it's 7 to get there and 5 to get back. So that's 12. We don't have enough.
Hold on a second. What's our overland?
Okay, Sage. It's 19. Can we hustle getting to the Hex?
You can, yeah. You just need to have 9.5 miles available once you arrive at the Hex to explore it.
Yeah, but we're trying to get there, explore a bit, and get back to Oleg's in the same day. So, if we... So, math, let me do math really quick.
I don't know if we have time for that. Sounds
And
pretty. I
that's-
mean, if they come later in the day, then we probably have time. But if they come during the day, it might be a little late.
If we hustle, we essentially get 4 per hour. If
True.
we hustle there, we might need to hustle back, but I believe we can do it. And with your body say buff that you can sustain on us for free, we should be able to.
Yes.
That's true.
All right. I'd be okay with that for efficiency's sake. Yeah.
So essentially, we need a body save. Make sure no one.
Alright, so you are intending to hustle then.
Yeah.
Alright, then I will need a body save from everyone.
The DC is 5.
It's pretty low DC.
I don't think I can fail that.
I could have.
Body save.
Yes, of course.
Oh god, a +6. I wish that was me.
Yep, I know.
Oh look, I can't fail.
It's not an autofill on ones, right? It's not a.
Plus for that, yeah.
Not for endurance, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to click my.
I've rolled a 5, a 4, and a 4.
Yeah, you do need to click your token, yes.
It's a cursed existence, truly. Those rolls.
I'm loading a map. Hang on.
Hey, it's not cursed. I still succeeded.
All right.
Remember, we do have a +1 up right now.
It's true.
True.
It's true.
I didn't even include that.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh! I'm not the only one with a +2 body save. Good.
The Here we are. All right. You'll see to the north of the map. There's a little box that I put your tokens in. So you guys need a roll. You can use those.
Oh, okay.
Where?
Oh,
Just
What is it?
Ah, that's cool.
Oh, it's very far.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it convenient.
And if you ever need to update, you can just pop your new tokens down there and use them.
It's a
Just
big
don't
bird.
leave that box because that will reveal stuff.
Holy
What's the
crap,
item?
Errol's huge.
He's the biggest bird.
It's
No,
because it's a
annoying
hex
bird.
map, so his size reset to medium. Yeah. Anyways, everyone, through your hustling and bustling, you do manage to push the extra grouping of 4 miles, as I believe it is, into the next hex, allowing you guys extra breathing room to be able to make it to the hex, explore it, and make it back. Now, for the actual exploration, it will take some time, but you guys do have the light of day still shining above. It is early when you actually arrived within this hex. So,
Okay.
I will need the nature and survival, and any other things you might feel is appropriate.
Alright, well,
And in terms of when the bandits will arrive, I'm going to roll me a dice.
third verse, same as the first. Alright.
here's
Yeah.
one assist.
Yeah.
Oh, that might
Oh.
not exist, alright.
Oh my goodness, dude.
And
I
that does not
do have
assist.
a reroll. But I'm going to save the reroll for,
You should probably save the reroll.
for roleplay.
Can I get
And
+1
can
for
save
my Durger friend here?
Yeah, look at this 4 I roll again. Oh, it's a 5 this time.
Oh, it's a
Barely.
5!
You're
Oh, what am I
increasing!
gonna roll? No!
The DC might have been 14. I might have succeeded.
No, the DC's 15.
Well, I definitely don't magic it, but hey, you said nature too, right?
Yep.
Nature's
Your nature,
rocking.
same thing.
Did you
Another
roll the
18.
same? Oh.
Oh, damn. Alright.
Okay.
Can I roll material?
Knowledge material?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh,
I argue that the world is a material, and I should be able to explore it.
Well,
Shut up.
just want to identify certain materials. And
and it makes
try to
perfect
pick up on
sense.
them.
Yeah.
Try to pick up on them.
While he's doing that, Double, you should be rolling Herbalist.
Yeah.
The forest is just an organic material.
It's true.
And grass as well.
Alright.
Yep.
I hate that.
Technically, dwarves are organic materials.
Do you guys have
Every living creature is.
anything that would prevent you guys from getting lost?
Uh,
Like an innate ability, a feat, or anything of that
Let me
nature?
look through.
Allow me to check to see if I have a compass.
Like a 9 is not a failure for getting lost, but it's on the cusp in the plains here, so...
I mean, if it makes a difference, I mean, I am sort of mapping out landmarks as we go along.
Yeah.
So, if you want, I could,
Photography.
I basically roll cartography just to prevent myself from getting lost because, again, I am keeping close track of where we are.
You can give me a cartographer's check.
Okay. Yeah,
Alright.
numbers.
Well, you would find that there is a particularly large oak tree within the hex, which I'll make visible in just a moment, that can be used as a landmark. It can be seen from pretty much any real location within the hex here.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty noticeable above the horizon because this area itself is fairly flat, not really hilly. And the tree itself is on an elevated position, so it's pretty prominent. If you're in the forest, though, that might not be as easily seen. But out here, it's really hard to actually get lost because, I mean, most of this hex you can see generally, at least the very least, the plume of smoke rising from Oleg, so you know which direction to go.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I
The
don't
tree
have
helps.
anything that prevents us from being lost, but I do have something that states that I can search large areas in half as much time. Does
That
the
would have been
hex
good to
count?
know.
Yes,
Okay.
Oh my
that's a huge
goodness. Why didn't you say that?
bonus.
I didn't think about it actually applying.
Well,
Oh my god!
So, Jack, you can do the normal search instead of in 9.5 miles in 4.75 miles. Additionally,
I meant to speak up. I do have an ability that gives advantage, a +4 to not getting lost.
excellent. Well, if you guys, if you are helping Ilfrin or whoever is running survival, because that is also trying to see if you guys are getting lost, and you do fail, I will give them a reroll because of that advantage. Only if you fail, though.
But yeah,
Have I failed?
we didn't need the hustle. Holy shit.
But with Jack's ability,
sorry.
they have to be the leader to gain that benefit. So they'd have to be the one
okay.
rolling survival.
Do you have survival?
I do not have survival.
Oh my god.
I
Oh,
will
no.
train it as soon as I can.
Yep.
Bruh.
Actually,
Train it today. It's tennis
training it today.
for 5 if you're human. Jesus.
I will train it while we're moving there.
Oh my god.
Excellent. Spending your downtime action to train it.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I
Well,
didn't
now
know
you know.
applied to that.
Alright, so you're our Hex Explorer. I'm the guy who keeps us from getting lost. Yeah. Okay, because I probably have a bigger bonus because I have a +6. I don't know what yours will be.
I
might
have a
be
plus
close.
6.
Oh,
look at that.
nice. Okay, cool.
Very nice.
There we go. That's fine.
Mine
Yeah.
would
I'll
be
do the assist. I will
Yeah,
be able to assist.
mine would be
You
+6 as well
Oh, nice.
with my ability.
You people
Nice.
just run around.
So I assume you want me to roll.
Right now.
That would be for next
Actually-
day. You'd have to
actu-
spend the day training
Yeah.
it.
Actually, mine would be +8. +8
God damn.
Damn.
Are you ever pussy?
with the echolocation. I could just chirp and have +4 to
Oh.
survival.
Well, yeah.
No, that's just a +4 of the roll, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it depends on where it applies. There's out
let's
in an
see
open
here.
field, echolocation doesn't really help.
Mm.
It is pretty hard to get any real sound back in an open field, but bats hunt in open fields all the time, so, you know, it depends on the circumstances. Any which ways, we are looking at a 9 and an 18 in the material and herbalist. So, and this cartographer, I need to go pop that tree image down for you guys. That's what I was doing. I was distracted by other stuff. That oak tree is right there. Hex. And bam, change to visible, change to object. You now click that layer tree and find that, hey, look, it's a thing. Moving into the area, though, as you push on in, beginning to explore, you're able to, the 9, you do find that there are signs of game in the area, but they're quite old. You don't think they've been here within the past couple of days. It doesn't help either that any tracks that they would have had has been swept away by the snow. But with an 18 in nature in this particular hex, do a D100 roll. 19. Okay. Within this hex, you can see that there are a sizable array of fresh veggie and forest beach patches of berries. Plenty of carrots. There's even several raspberry bushes here. Essentially, it is another one of... Just going to copy paste this one for ease. Another herb farm for a berry patch down here, and then a carrot patch up here. And this one is a berry patch.
Alright. So we have food sources we can build up in the future.
All right. Other than that, with a 16 material, looking over the area itself, you don't really notice any herbs along the way. For Jack, that would be of real note. But for Ardor, with your material of 16, as you're getting closer to the border's edge of the trees of the forest of the Gnarl Marches, you identify that there are some trees within the forest itself that are somewhat unique. Many of them are conifers, basic trees such as fir, pine, and then there's also a decent collection of oak, as well as alder, and even some aspen trees. But what really stands out would be that there is a particular tree within the area that is somewhat rough in bark, of a darker shade. You would identify this as a darkwood tree. You only see the one, but there is a darkwood tree here. And for ease, I will copy and pasta that there, just so you guys know. Darkwood tree. So that indicates that this forest might have more of these trees.
Nice. Okay, let me go look up that material.
Yes, one step closer to my mount.
What?
Wrong tree, devil. Wrong
Oh.
tree. Darkwood. Well, I don't know this in character, but Darkwood is great for making lightweight armor.
Yep.
Nice.
Darkwood itself, with your knowledge of 16 Ardor, you know that it is a incredibly lightweight wood, often used by skilled artisans and the like to produce a particularly sturdy material while keeping the light limited. So many elven warriors of the tribes of Kyonin and some of the more wild tribes that travel the lands use the wood itself for their armaments, whether that be bows or for armor.
I shared this information with the party.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Trees do not usually grow solitarily. There may very well be more of these to the south, is my suspicion.
Indeed. By the way, that tree is only found there because of the 19 roll. Your
Nice,
herbalism
good
was not
job.
high enough to actually, or your nature wasn't actually high enough, but the
Yeah, I mean, it's
D100 went really, really good for you guys' favor, plus your plus 8 from luck.
nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys' party's really lucky, so.
That's gonna be a big key of it. Yeah.
Indeed. However, that is the search. While you're searching, you guys are moving fairly slow. I'm going to see if there's anything that you guys would have noticed along the way. All right. Now, off in the distance, while you're traveling somewhat close to the core of the hex, so basically where your token is currently located, you have noticed that there's something large within the woods. You'd really see it just due to the distance, but you can see that it is somewhat humanoid and of larger size. But you can see it kind of like off in the distance here, way, way off on the horizon. So
A
that, I mean, that is,
humanoid.
like miles away. Yeah, a humanoid of some sort. At
Oh,
least large
it-
size.
A humanoid we can see from miles away.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
okay, it's a large size, so it's okay.
Well,
So it's a
yeah,
large size
okay.
creature. It's daytime. It's off on the horizon, so it basically
No,
looks like
I-
a speckle that's moving.
Yeah.
Do we have a
It's like-
spyglass?
Unfortunate.
Those are expensive.
It's
I
true.
thought
We
someone had
stick-
some sort of item like that. I swore someone mentioned that. All right,
I
never
don't
mind.
know whether the compass.
Okay, compass maybe.
I have
maybe.
a small steel mirror.
Oh, get out of here.
All right. But that hex is now considered fully explored. You guys have gained another 2 experience for hex A2.
Yeah,
Right? We
it's
should-
another 33. I'm not counting, I swear.
All right. And that took you guys 9.5 hours of travel plus the 7 hours to actually get there. So you guys are at 16.5 hours spent out of your 23, I believe. Yeah, 19 plus 4.
Yeah, we need to just head back to Oleg's.
Yep, I agree with that.
So remaining movement. Means we have to hustle back. We do so, but
Yep.
that was the plan.
I will need another set of body saves, DC 6 this time.
Not the boss of me.
Hmm.
Oh,
Please
Oh.
don't roll low for once. Ah.
Hmm.
Okay, here we go again. I promise.
Jack, really? What are the rolls today,
You
man?
guys' dice are horrible.
God.
I mean, at least it's just, for finding plants. It's nothing crazy. But, man.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm making other people roll. Fudge.
Alright, you
Okay,
guys
we're
managed
good.
to make it back to Oleg's. For some of you, a little sweaty. But, I mean, it's all in a day's work. Night begins to fall, and you guys would arrive back. And there would be a new individual within the camp. I'm just going to grab you guys' tokens, chuck you guys outside the gates as you make your way forward, and control F.
Why do I have flanking? Wait,
Get your
hold
bird
on.
off me.
Probably never
I have
turned
enough
off during
bird.
combat.
Okay. I thought it was turning on when I use body save.
And I'm going to hide the roof real quick.
We blew off the roof.
No, I need to put people inside. Because Oleg at this time would be tending to the bar.
Oh, there's actual people here.
Impersonate.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Alrighty. Roll a 4.
There we go. Alright. Make your way inside. You can see that at the main hearth from the exterior of the trading post near the dining tables, you can see Svetlana. She's currently serving a bowl of stew or some other hot food source within a bowl to a rather older gentleman. You can see that his skin is sun-scorched in many places. Looks like he has lived much of his life within the woods, in the plains here. His hair is all sorts of wild. It's got leaves and twigs in it. But his beard is surprisingly well kept. You can see that he is dressed in fine furs and leathers, and I don't mean fine as in like high quality, just it looks like he keeps well care of them. And along his chest there is a set of 2 bandoliers, all of which are filled to the brim with potions of varying colors. But he, as you enter, thank you, my dear. It's quite lovely. It smells delicious. And you will take the stew and begin, breathing on the spoon to cool it down before taking a nice, big, hearty Gulp. Svetlana, seeing you guys enter, would give a friendly nod and a wave. Supper is ready if you're looking for some.
I would nod. Ah, thank you, Svetlana. That actually sounds great.
Excellent. I'll set you up here. She'll begin setting out some bowls, pouring out you guys some stew. You can see inside, though it is somewhat quiet in there, there is some communication. There's some noise coming from within the bar.
Alright,
Well,
sounds quite busy today.
a little
Well,
bit.
this
We've
is-
had some hunters arrive in. And of course, Boken here. Did you find anything outside of the walls? Anything of note?
We found some locations that might be useful in the future, but sadly nothing immediately useful.
I see.
Some nice farmland we could use, but yes.
Yes. Well, the green belt is quite fertile. It is, well, it was before the loss of coral. It was quite a rich land.
So it seems I'm not too experienced in farming myself, but from the plant growth even this time of year, it should be quite abundant. Alright, go ahead, sorry.
I'm not much of a farmer myself, but if you found groves out there, then that really is a sign. There are some plants that grow within wintertime, at least the cusp of spring, but this is surprising. The stone lands are quite interesting. This Boken will kind of speak up, putting his stew to the side. Aye, they are. The lands themselves are nourished not only by the seasons, but by its connection. I'm sure your barked friend there can attest to this. The Feywild is quite potent here.
Ilfrin will simply grunt at the at being mentioned without his permission. Not about to divulge anything to someone he doesn't even fucking know.
Oh, my apologies, Boken. I live around these parts. You know, I come here, travel a bit, find some herbs and the like around these parts and sell them to Oleg. The shop's open for you lot if you're interested. I got potions, herbs, and the like.
Hey, we will probably take that offer up at some point. My name is Nasi, by the way, and these are my companions, and Nasi will go through and gesture and give a name to each person, allowing them to introduce themselves as they wish.
Kotak will take a quick look at his beard, give like a stern nod, then continue eating a little bit faster than usual, but yeah.
Well met, Boken. I am Jack. I believe we share a similar hobby.
You do look the sort. Well, perhaps we can show each other a thing or two.
I'm always open to the sharing of information.
Hey, think about it, you're an alchemist of sorts. I mean, you got the look about you, you got the vials on you. There's this whole land is filled to the brim with reagents and the like, all sorts of fine quality alchemical gear, and herbs to boot. Helps really with potion making and bomb making. But there's something I'm looking for. I'm not much for fighting. Old age and all that. Got a bum leg. But you lot look quite sturdy. There's a cave near here. Got some fine berries within it. I can make a potent brew with them. I'd be interested if you happen upon it. Pay well for them.
Do you have a clearer location as to where this cave might be?
Oh, it's a bit south from here. A couple miles. Yeah, I'll. Yeah, you have a map. I know what it is. I didn't dare to go inside. I saw the webbings.
So it is the spider cave we've been told about.
Oh, you've heard of it?
It is, but Brandon Oleg told us what they could about the area.
And I'll give a nod before serving the last bowl, moving it over to Ardor, and seemingly heading back inside as the bowl is empty. He's got more people to serve.
If you wish to note them, I am the controller of our map currently. You will lay it out. Do not mar it, please.
Wait, I'll point then, and you can mar it. And he will point on the map to the location. Let me go and mark it on your Stormlands map.
I'll let you mar it. Ilfrin takes note of that. He seems slightly amused. Barely.
Filled with spiders and fang berries. Visible to players. Alright, on your world map, to the southeast, I have marked the spider's den, or spider's nest icon, which you can now click to determine what it says.
Okay. Wait, he mentioned fangberries? What are...
He said that there's a berry bush. He didn't actually call them fangberries. At least not yet.
Oh, okay. But a special berry bush then. That's kind of what we know.
Yes.
So, Broken, I don't suppose Svetlana or Oleg mentioned our purpose here.
Mentioned there's some adventurers from out Restov way. Claim they're gonna help about the nasty business to the south. Yeah.
We've been granted a charter to clean up the land, so to speak, take care of the bandits problem and a couple other issues. If you would be willing, we can use more information about the region. You may have some that Oleg and Svetlana didn't, as you live closer to the wilderness than they do.
Roll me persuasion. Diplomacy, that's what it's called.
That is my job. I need a second token. Booga booga.
Alright. Well, if you're gonna take out the bandits, suppose there's no harm in showing what I know. Yeah, he'll start looking at the map and pointing things out. Alright. To control F and E again for you guys. Prepare to have an extension upon what you guys know.
That is what I was hoping for.
Heck yeah. Hey. Whoa.
There's a giant exclamation point. Oh my.
Try an exclamation point.
Yeah.
The side of the area you reviewed.
Okay.
We can't click on it, but we can see it.
Oh, this. Yeah, no, that is
Oh, that's an eye. And upside down exclamation point.
that is an indication of the region. It just tells me it's the green belt. It's. I thought it was not player visible.
There's
one
another
to
one in the
right
bottom
of
right
it.
that's barely visible.
That one should be visible, and I will give it a little dot 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 so you guys can click on it.
Okay.
And that just indicates that that river is known as the Shrike River.
Ah,
Oh,
it's the river. Okay.
All right.
The river.
The area that he's explored has been revealed to you now, so you guys should have a decent sizable chunk of the terrain down here shown.
Yeah. Seems like mostly plains.
Mostly plains, as well as grasslands to the south down here. Some forest. He hasn't really gone too deep into the normal marches, as you can see. But with that, he will provide some key locations unlocked, as well as I'm going to give him a check to see if he notices anything. Because he knows key locations on the map, but I need to check to see if he can uncover any non-key locations during his travels. Alright. That should be accurate for him. Okay. And the other one...
Not bad.
natural
Oh!
20.
Whoa!
Alright. So, he begins pointing out some interesting locations. Let's see here. So, out eastwards, I was going to explore a bit further. I know that the river has some nice herbs that grow upon its edge, but when I got to here, well, I encountered something quite terrifying, to be honest. I hid within the rocky outcroppings nearby. A winged beast flying through the area. Head that of a lion. Thick bat-like wings. Whatever it was, I'm lucky I got away with my life, but beast is hunting in that area. And you guys can give me a nature check.
All right. Sounds like it's me. It's my turn. Okay. Nature. No idea.
I
Excellent.
have no idea what it is, but I've given it a
You have
label.
inspiration.
So the entire map just disappeared for me.
Did it?
Oh, when you click on your token, it takes your vision away.
Yeah.
So you click off your token and it'll bring it back.
Okay.
Because when you have your token clicked, it only shows you the yeah, your token's vision.
That makes sense.
Indeed.
Yeah, I noticed that too. You just
I
have to
thought I
click back
I
on the
thought I was
screen.
going crazy. I was like, what?
I don't want to use my inspiration, but
Right.
Is that to everybody in the party, or is that just to
everyone can roll
the leader?
nature.
Okay.
Yeah, this is him
Even
just telling you
untrained?
about what it looks like.
I think you have to be trained.
What lores do
getting
you have?
information.
Yeah, in Unbound, you need to be trained in the skill to use a knowledge check.
I have race human, backstory alchemy, backstory spy network, regional Bavoy, regional river kingdoms, miscellaneous plants, miscellaneous gems, miscellaneous metal, miscellaneous criminal organization.
You didn't have a lore for this, unfortunately.
Okay.
Just to make sure this isn't anything possibly related to my lores being fey, floral, dark elves.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
If you have anything that's like lore, monsters or fauna or the like, that could apply, but
Yeah, no.
Um,
Specifically flora.
yeah.
I don't.
I
want
have
to,
provided
but
a little circle around it to indicate the hunting ground of this beast. So if you're in that area,
I'll
this
go-
beast becomes a potential encounter on the random encounter table.
I'll go ahead and use my inspiration. There you
Fucking
go. You're
rip.
welcome, Lexo. There you go. There you go. I was like, I probably shouldn't do this. I'm probably just gonna roll shit again, and yeah, there you go.
I feel like today has
Damn it.
been the
Oh, well.
day of low numbers.
It has.
Yeah, it's been
How
awful.
many ones have we rolled?
There
Like 3
has
or
been
4?
very few rolls above a 10 for this session.
To be fair, since we updated the framework, every game I run has been rolling really bad.
It's weird.
Some of the players have been like, "Is there a hidden disadvantage baked into it or something?"
Oh,
I
man.
mean, oh my
And I'm
god.
like, pretty sure
Oh,
not.
no, it's just the dice. There's a 20.
Stop.
Ah, there you go. Okay, excellent.
Break the streak.
Good to know we wasted the 20.
Alright,
There's infinite number of rolls left available. Don't worry. Seriously.
He's not going to tell you where he lives. He didn't roll high enough on your diplomacy for that. I'm going to continue revealing things now, unless you guys have any further questions for that particular location.
We actually weren't very far from that.
Yeah, now she would comment, "Oh, that's fairly close to the main road. Not right now, but we may have to go take care of that beastie at some point."
If you do head out that way, I'd be cautious. The beast has a mighty roar. I don't think it uses it simply for scaring off predators. I don't think it has any predators.
It's very well made now.
Let's see here. I did, a bit further southwards, I was looking for trying to find another one of these berry patches, the fang berries I mentioned, so I wouldn't have to deal with the spiders. I was traveling along the, border of the Gnarl Marches, and there's this sunken piece of ground and some ancient stonework. I don't quite know what was in there. I didn't go deeper, but there's some tomb or the like. Some strange glyphs upon it. Druidic maybe, draconic. I can't say. Druidic/draconic tomb, maybe. And making that visible. And that is down here. Oh, not in token. Here we go. That is down here. So, right there.
Okay.
Sure,
So there is a written version of Druidic.
Yes, Druidic runes.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Interesting.
Ilfrin, Ilfrin will draw the letter A real quick in Druidic. Did they look something like this?
1 second. I need to look up this location to see what the thing actually is. Let's see here. That is.
Not gonna write a whole word. Technically, A is a word, but that doesn't really help.
All right.
By the way, Devil, if you were talking, we just got pure static.
It's true. Still static.
Ooh. Yeah, it's bad.
There is no devil, only static.
Devil's in the details, apparently.
It looks similar to that. Bit different though. The runes were more jagged and somewhat primitive. Now you can give me a linguistics check if you have proficiency in that skill. Anyone can do this
Oh, okay.
if you have proficiency.
Does anyone have linguistics?
I'm double checking. I didn't. It's another thing I'm gonna take eventually.
All right. Having him describe it, and seeing the rune that Ilfrin has drawn, you'd identify that it's neither draconic nor druidic. Nasi, you would identify it as an ancient form of giant. Specifically, Cyclopean.
That
Nancy would speak up. Interesting. I've heard. I believe it's neither Druidic nor Draconic. I've heard rumors of an ancient written form of the giant tongue, the Cyclopean Cyclopses, specifically. I've never seen it myself, but in my teachings at the church, I come across mention of it. It's. I don't suppose you've ever seen giants in the region, Broken?
Ah,
Overlord people?
I have actually. Some wanderings around the Nile marches. They never really leave, and I don't see them up close. But, there are giants there. I also might have seen some giants south of here. Some larger folks, just around this point in the hills.
Interesting.
Which
I
I
wonder
will.
if they're friendly or not.
I can't say I didn't communicate with them. I'm gonna go and add a indication for this. Now, he doesn't actually
I mean,
point anywhere in the forest because he's just like I saw them
yeah,
somewhere.
it's just,
But
yeah.
the hills down
I
here,
don't know.
giant territory? Question mark?
I mean, there's very well. I mean, depending on the type of giant, from what I've read, they might talk to you or they might make you into a stew. That's what the stories say, anyway.
Ilfrin looks at his bowl.
Um, that's what I've heard myself as well. Best not to deal with those who wish to eat me.
However, the fact that there's some type of ruins with their writing, they might be more civilized than others.
Maybe. I mean, these lands were said to be part of the old empire before Coral took it over. So it could just be the old kingdom. Or perhaps the giants saw merely scatterings of that empire.
As I read in the histories that long ago, at least out of character, I believe this is Galilean history, that the giants and dragon kind were actually enemies. And I'm pretty sure the dragons enslaved them at one point, which is why their writings are so similar. I believe that's Galilean history.
I believe so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, off the top of my head, it sounds right.
Yeah.
I have to, look into it to confirm, but that sounds pretty accurate. I mean,
No,
Coral the
yes.
Conqueror did conquer a Cyclopean empire, so here we are.
Indeed.
It is possible as well that they were also more in tune with their natural sides. Hence this natural influence.
Indeed, and there are actually some people who believe that the Draconic language and Druidic itself are more closely tied, but obviously there's no proof of that. It's all conjecture. They probably all just stem from the same root. It's Darcy's essentially going into a linguistics lesson at this point before he kind of catches himself and stuffs.
Yeah, Ilfrin's just staring at him like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Jack would just stare at him as well, though he'd be doing so with a slightly amused grin on his face. Like, go on.
The annoying bird also would find a word that would sound the most annoying to say repeatedly, and would say that repeatedly as Nasi goes on.
Excellent.
Yeah, Errol just flits over to Ilfrin and shouts at him, stew, over and over again.
Oh my god, if your bird does that, he's throwing your bird. He has his
You-
one annoying bird is already.
All right.
Yeah, Kotak's gonna look at the rune. Was it giant or a cyclopean or?
The rune that Ilfrin drew was druidic. Nasi identified the runes that have been described by Boken as most likely cyclopean.
Oh, also he destroys that piece of paper with that rune on it.
Excellent.
Good to know.
Didn't seem egregious enough, but also just in case.
You defiled your brother's remains.
Yep.
Life is
And they
brutal.
were already dead.
Broken.
Ah,
There's one thing we heard about. We heard, I believe, to the west, northwest, west. Out of character, I don't remember off the top of my head. But some large, blighted or corrupted tree.
I'm gonna give him a check on this one specifically.
Oh shit.
Ah, yes. There is a foul presence within the Null Marshes, deeper within the forest, but still it is an unpleasant affair. The tree itself surrounds itself with the dead that it lures in. It is quite dangerous. I don't know exactly where it is in the forest. I know it's deep within, though. Within the Dire Marches, if I recall correctly. The Dire Marches are on the southern side of the forest, for clarity.
Right, this is.
Yeah.
All right. So he can point us in it's vaguely that direction.
Yeah.
All right. That is one of the other jobs we were thinking of looking to potentially cleansing that tree, removing its taint. A bit more complicated than getting rid of bandits, but well, it would need to be done eventually, nonetheless.
Aye. And, if you do go there, I would prepare accordingly. That tree is, well, from the stories the hunters tell, it is, well, it's killed more than have seen it, but more who have lived to tell the tale. Many have claimed that it is a work of the abyss, how bloodthirsty it is.
Oh. Can I make a check?
Give me a nature check.
Oh, nature?
Mm-hmm.
I can't make claims when you mentioned.
No, that was just him using it as like a
Using flowery
analogy.
language.
Yeah, flowery language.
Look, you can't get
Shut
my
up,
heart
I'll roll
rate
nature.
down.
There you go. 18s on nature all day.
18.
All
All
I
right.
right.
got excited with me, but this. Interesting. Oh,
Oh, tell me more.
All right. I'm just bringing up my notes on it. So, you hearing the words of this strange, bloodthirsty tree, first thing that comes to mind would be blighted ones, perhaps a blighted Trent or something of that nature. I mean, trees aren't often bloodthirsty. With an 18, though, you have heard tale of a particular tree said to be able to roam the forest with which it has dug its roots. The tree itself is said to be quite intelligent, bound not just to the trees and the soil, but to the underbark. You know that this tree itself feeds from the flesh and blood of living creatures, and it is said to have a dark brown bark, relatively short for a tree, in that it tends to grow to about 20 feet tall for a adult one of these. Though there are tales you heard of within the underbark of larger specimens. It could be a few different things, but the first thing that comes to mind would be a scythe tree.
Well,
None of those sound good.
there very well may be trees which feast upon flesh and blood rather than merely sun and water. Trees that can roam as they please over a particular location. One name I know for these are scythe trees. It will also go into further detail about their physical descriptors as was described.
Hmm. Well, it seems like we have to prepare for that.
I can't help you in that regard. I don't know much about the beasts. But, by the way, the reason why you got that is because of your, underbark time.
I had a feeling. Thank you.
The 18 was not enough. For the
Yeah, I
side
can
tree
imagine.
specifically. Yeah. From the sounds of it, I would prepare with fire and blade for such a beast. Knowing trees themselves, but I can't say for sure. If you're looking for fire, though, I do have some alchemist fire within stock at the moment. But you're wanting to know more about the land. There's some other locations I've uncovered. There is a band of blue, grotesque, fey creatures part of the south. I didn't go too close as they were quite aggressive. Something pissed them off, I think. They kept talking about totem. I only know a little bit of Oklo, so but they live from this massive tree within the heart of the green belt. Actually, is this might be the Cane Lands. Let me scroll out to see. No, okay, the green belt. Massive tree within the green belt. The old sycamore, I believe. Just mark that on your map, and by a mark I mean point.
Alright, he'll come back over.
Alright, and he will point out to the far edge of where he's explored to the south. There is a large tree icon, and that is the old sycamore, which is, as he puts it, a mite den. The fey beasts, I don't know what they call themselves, but most folks around these parts call them mites. A rudimentary sort. They have their own society. Quite aggressive to intruders upon their land, though. I see what you did there. I can't say if they're conversable, but they do live in a tribal structure. I've also seen some kobolds down that way. Soot scales, from my knowledge, might be near. They travel in large numbers down that area. I don't know exactly where their den is, though, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Let's see what marked from this location. Let's see, we got that marked. While I was making my way back around before, finding the ancient tome, I did come upon a old abandoned mine. I don't know exactly what's in it, but just renaming it because the name of the icon actually told you what it was. But it didn't look like it was been open for a while. It was boarded up, and there's a sign plastered to it, though. It was weathered and couldn't really read it. Abandoned mine. Mark as visible. And that there is over here.
Man, that's gonna be a busy hex for us.
Let's see here. Anything else he would note with his just basic knowledge before I go to his rolls? No. Everything else would be shoops and whoops. All right. Now for the rolls. I had a solid 17 and 27. 17 survival, 27 nature. Okay. Well, I do know that the areas around. Let me make sure I'm in. Yeah, cool. The areas around this part are filled with wildlife. A whole herd of deer travel that region, especially during wintertime. I think they graze there within the abundance of fresh grass that seems to grow in that area. Something's special there, I feel. The air is always somewhat warmer, not quite so frosty. And I know plenty of hunters live that way too. Some cabins down there, and even some nice hunting roosts. But during this time of year, the deer, they do congregate in larger flocks in that area before returning south into the Camelins. Which I will mark that for ease. I'm just gonna, because it's not, it's a random thing that you found. Deer herd. He would also report you guys about the, let me go mark those as visible, tell you guys about the hunting cabins in the area, which he would not know exactly where they are, but I will just put an icon in the center so I can remind myself that you guys know that. Hunting cabins. Hunters live in space these parts. You are. You know there's deer herd, you know there's hunting cabins. You also know, which I'll just put in the hunting cabins, since it's kind of like a general hex information icon, that the area itself seems to be warmer than more normal. And judging from the other portions within this region, perhaps there's something mystical about that.
And which hex is this?
That would be change to object. That'd be right here.
Okay, that would be right there. Okay. I don't know why I didn't think it was there. Okay.
Yeah. All right, and let's see here.
Okay.
I know about this way. Oh, you've already noticed the soot scales. They love them. Radishes. They use them in shamanistic rituals of sorts. I think they mostly just use them to get high, to be honest, but they have a radish patch there, which I see you've marked. Additionally, I have encountered within that particular region of the forest, there is a batch of, what's the name of these? Nightingale berries. Sleep draught they can be turned into. Though they are harvestable only really during the fall season. I will mark that on you guys as well. Let's see here, and they are right there. We will mark that for you guys. You guys need me. Oh, okay. It's right there. I was muted. But that is where he'd point out the Nightingale berry patch. Let's see
If
here.
you put an icon, it's not visible.
Oh, it's token layer. How about now?
There we go.
Cool. apparently token layer is not visible for you guys unless you are in range. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Alright, anything else? Oh, giant territory isn't, the icon isn't marked as object either. There we go, it's fixed. Anything else I need to mark as object so you guys can click on it and see it? Making sure. Not going crazy. Cool, okay. Additionally, let's see here, that would be no on the western and southern end with his 27. He would not tell you about those, but he's not quite friendly enough for that. Okay. Yeah. I didn't delve too deep, but, I did find a quarry of sorts. These parts here. I didn't delve too deep, to be honest, because there was a large bear or a bird or something. I didn't quite get a look at it. But whatever it was, it scared me off right quick. I ran as fast as my little legs could take me. There's a quarry there, though, that's filled with stone, and I think I might have even seen something sparkling within the depths of it before I made my way up the cliff. I'd be careful if you do head out that way. The bear, bird, whatever thing it was, it is ornery. And let me go and mark that for you guys.
A bear and a bird are quite different. Do you mean it was a bear that looked like a bird? Or...
Well, it was like the size and shape of a bear, but it hooted at me. It was really weird. You guys can roll
out
nature.
of character.
You know what it is out of character, I assume.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Out of character,
alright.
I want to tame it and write it into battle.
Man,
Yeah.
I wish I had my advantage for this roll of any of them. Fuck! Fuck!
And so it continues.
God damn it, man.
Yep, it continues. That sounds weird. You don't really know what he's talking about.
I need to pick up more damages.
Alright, I have marked the icon. I moved it to the center of the hex because you actually don't know where it is in the hex because he was too busy running from the bear thing to actually mark it.
It's still a token.
Yep. And it should be clickable so you guys know that there is...
You can't see it.
You guys can't see it? You guys can't see that?
Yep.
Really? Oh, I'm a fucking banana. I didn't have it visible to players. There you go. Yeah. It does say in the token, home to an owlbear. Don't know it's an owlbear at this point in time, but, you know, it's easy. I don't want to edit it later.
I mean, yeah.
But you do know
It's
it
a
is...
bear that hoots.
It's true. You know, it's a mine or a quarry for some form of stone. You know, type of stone. But perhaps gems as well, because he did mention something sparkly.
Where is this? I'm trying
In
to
this
find it.
hex here. It's somewhere in this hex.
All I see is like a pickaxe and shovel.
Yeah, that's the icon.
Okay.
He didn't know where it is exactly, so I just put it in the center.
Okay.
Just as an indication that you know something is in there. Alright, with that, though... Well, be honest, I know the Null marches are much more favorable for harvesting of fine herbs and reagents, but I didn't go in there. The Fey folk and the beasts that dwell within kind of scare me a little too much. Plus I'm old and it's a far travel. I know that there are sources of what's the name for this plant? It's like a flower, but a bulb to it. Lover's tulip. That's what they're called. Yes, lover's tulip. often gifted to one's lover, but little known fact, they are actually potent in their magical qualities. They can be used for healing. They can be used for love. And strangely enough, they have a connection to that of pain. So he does not know exactly where, but in the Null Marches icon, which should be the center. Yes, there it is. I will add into the notes section that you know that there is the Lover's Tulip within the forest. That is a potent magical reagent with love, healing, pain. Alright. And you actually can't see the Gnarl Marches icon, it's far to the south, but if you... here you go. Now you can see it. So you can click on that and get some info. Other than that,
pain.
though,
Yeah.
I don't really much else. I mostly just been sticking around my own parts, harvesting my own garden. So, and not since I busted my leg, so haven't been able to travel too far. That is what he reveals.
Oh, thank you, Broken. It seems we have our work cut out for us going forward.
Well, the Soul Lands are filled with wonders and mysteries.
They certainly seem very busy.
Yes. If you're wanting to tame the place, it is, well, going to be quite the trouble, I feel.
Yet it seems if we do, it shall provide.
Aye. The land itself is fertile, well, really has much of everything that you might need. Well, depending on what you're looking for. But it is getting late and I think I would like to hit the hay. Thank you for the conversation.
Indeed, and once we clear out that cave, we'll make sure to bring plenty of berries.
I'd greatly appreciate them. Do leave some for reharvesting, though. Takes some time to regrow.
Of course.
Give a friendly nod before making his way inside the bar, and then heading upstairs. As he enters, Kotak and Jack, you would notice that there are a few individuals that I don't have tokens for because they're just random hunter number 1, random hunter number 2. They might have information for you guys, but they are not named NPCs. But you would see 2 individuals, besides Oleg and Svetlana in there, who, let me go to the DM view so I can make them visible, who are different. So, you would see that there is an elven woman, or at least half-elven, as her ears are, would suggest, sitting at the bar, currently having a drink, being served by Oleg. She is dressed in armor and has a bow at her side, though unstrung, as she's currently just resting, as well as from what appears to be a thin bladed weapon attached to her sheath upon her hip. She looks like, just from this distance, it's really hard to tell, but she looks like she is capable in fighting, and she's seen her fair few battles. The other individual, which I need to actually put to the bar, here we go, you would see would be a man, relatively old. He's not, like, venerable or anything of that nature, but he's on the cusp of, like, between middle age and old. He appears to have one leg, dressed in basic furs, cloth, and other such wear that you would find common to the hunters within the region. Has a nice wide-brimmed hat, and like with the elf, he does seem to have a weapon near him, though this one is a crossbow. And they're both just sitting, chatting, having drinks. And that's what you notice before the doors closed and Boken heads upstairs.
I have a question. What time of day is it?
You guys would have arrived back later in the day. I don't believe any of you guys have any features of the light that says you know exactly what time of day it is. But putting your hand up to the sky, looking at where the sun stands, you'd surmise that you maybe have about half an hour till sunset fully hits in and it's twilight.
Okay.
Well, I just quite a lot of information. There's a lot in the region, and a lot to think about after we deal with our visitors that will be coming tomorrow.
Indeed. Ilfrin is visibly writing down the information they just received.
That being said, and you are welcome to join me, of course, I think I'm going to head in for a drink and maybe introduce myself to the visitors. It's good to know our neighbors in this land.
Or
I'll be
competition.
busy with this.
Neighbors and competition are not exclusive, Jack. And even competition can be useful. But I'd rather look for allies at this point. Yeah, now she's going to stand up and begin heading inside after finishing his food.
Yeah, Jack will join.
Kodak will stay with Ilfrin for a while.
Annoying bird will or not annoying bird. Errol will stop annoying.
Annoying bird to electric boogaloo.
Yeah, when I walk in, I will come and sit a respectable distance away from the other two. You don't just sit adjacent to someone else. It's like going to an adjacent urinal in the men's bathroom. You don't do it. And set my shield and sword just down against the. You're pointing at a table, so
I was muted. As you sit down at the bar, entering into the area, you would see the aforementioned Vekel and Honoriel. But you would see that there are two individuals, the no-named NPC hunters, that are sitting at this table here. Just so you know that there's... The bar is not really full, but there are more than what's shown. And for ease, I can actually just drop some tokens for you guys for visual representation. I have some random hunter icons I can use.
you don't want to sit in the laugh section that way. Or right, I don't know.
You got a hat. You work for me.
Is that Daniel Craig? No, never mind. That's definitely not Daniel Craig.
Bam. Hunter,
No,
hunter.
it's very close to Daniel Craig though.
We're
Really?
zoomed out. I was zoomed out, and it's just vaguely the similar shape. I'm like, is that
Fair.
Daniel Craig? What? It's the brow furrow.
Oleg will be wiping off a mug before putting it underneath the counter. What can I get for you, Nasi? I forgot my voice, what it sounds like. I think it's a bit more like this. That sounds right. Let me look at my notes. BCs. Oleg.
As Oleg pulls out a script. Wait, what was that saying?
Don't worry about me, I'm just breaking the fourth wall. Alright, Oleg, here we are. Voice. So what can I get for you, Nasi?
I assume he has some type of basic drink board or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's a board behind him, just,
Okay.
ale, there's some mead on stock. He also seems to have a stock of whiskey.
How much is the whiskey on the board?
For a shot of whiskey, you're looking at 5 copper.
What about just like a 2-finger glass of whiskey?
That would be...
Or 2 ounces, so
Yeah,
2 shots, essentially.
I mean, it would be, silver in that case.
Yeah, sorry. I was doing the math out loud in my head. I will sit down, placing my shield and sword resting up against the bar. And reach into my pocket and put down a silver coin. I'll take a glass of whiskey. That seems nice. After a hard day's travel.
Fair enough. Let's see here. Pulls at the bottle. You can see that the bottle is not often taken, but it is open. So some people have ordered this before. And as you look to the side, you actually see Noriel is drinking a shot of whiskey of her own, and he'll pour you a nice. Can't think of the word that you just said. Not much of a drinker, so I don't know these terminologies. But he'll pour you a double shot, essentially.
It's referred to as a 2-finger pour. Because it goes up to your first 2 fingers on a clear glass.
Excellent.
Or a standard whiskey glass.
Mm-hmm. I'll pour you a two-finger pour, then. You are receiving your glass, and you nod.
Thank you, Ulrich.
Didn't find anything interesting out there.
Oh, well, we found a lot more resources than well, more than I expected this close to the border, actually. We're going to be busy when the time comes. But nothing immediately pressing. We did notice a large person walking on the edge of the forest, but for what Broken told us, there are some giant-like people in the region. So,
I'd be careful with that. I've heard tales from hunters. This Vekel kind of speak up. Yeah, I would definitely be careful. There's trolls in the Nala marches. They're not friendly, not even the slightest. I had a pal from down south, Henrik. Well, he went to a run-in with them trolls, lost his arm and a leg. We're going to eat him, to be honest, but a bunch of other hunters managed to pick on by. Noel here actually was with them. And she got them out. Nora will give a nod. Oh, least I could do.
I will exploring these lands, helping each other out is, well, survival over all. I'll kind of raise a glass to that. Sounds lucky you came by. But yes, if it's trolls and the like, that did sound quite a bit more dangerous.
Surprising that you, had sightings of a larger creature so far to the northern border. The trolls are within the dire marches, so they're not likely to be seen that far north.
Hey, it was on the edge of the forest, a bit ways away, but big enough we could see it moving on the horizon. And by its gait, it was definitely humanoid-ish.
Perhaps an ogre, then. The forest does have a few goblin tribes and a few loose congregations of the lesser giantkin.
We had not heard that. It was good to know. As I go write that in our notes. Great. Goblins and ogres.
Yeah, most of the goblins are out east along the mountain range, but a few tribes lie within the forest. They keep to themselves for the most part. They're more of a westerly lot, as it were. But the ogres, they wander.
That is good to know. Forgive me. My name is Darcy.
Ah, yes, Noel. Noel Eight Eyes, as some people call me.
He will raise a brow at that title.
Well, bit of an adventurer of my sort, myself, my old troop, and those I've worked for, have a knack for seeing things, you see. They thought at first, well, it's like eyes in the back of my head. But then I saw things that they didn't think I would be able to see normally. I got a bit of a magic sight. Can see beyond the veil a little bit. Got a little bit of a skill with divination as well, so they figured, well, eyes in front, eyes in back, eyes beyond, and eyes within magic. That's about 8 eyes, right? So, I'm kind of stuck.
Sound conclusion to me. But there's a useful skills to have as an adventurer.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a retired now. I travel every now and then and help out if I'm on the road. Just happen to be good luck on their part that I was there. Mostly now I've just been working with the Pathfinder Society, helping out any local troops, getting mercenaries alike if they need it, and sharing a drink here or there at Oleg's when I'm passing by. Most of the time I'm just looking for information, so if you lot, you do look like the adventuring sort. If you happen by any particularly interesting pieces of information about the realm, ancient lore, lost artifacts, things of that nature, be happy to pay you.
Keep that in mind. Having a contact with the guild is always useful.
Well, we're happy to provide.
Have you been traveling around this region long?
Not particularly long. I happened upon Boken and those hunters my way in, so.
I was mainly curious if you've had any issue with the bandits I've heard about.
I've heard about them. There were some in the woods, camped along a river, I think. They tried jumping me. Emphasis on tried.
Fair enough.
They skedaddled pretty quickly, after that. Managed to get a few things from the camp, but I feel like they have a backup camp somewhere along that river.
Interesting.
Yeah. The whole region is filled with bandits, to be honest. Not only those under the Staglord's banner, but those just, well, wandering and thinking they can take others' belongings for themselves. Many from the river kingdoms come here after their old lives have been destroyed.
It seems we really do have our work cut out for us. Then,
Well, there's no end to bandits, I'm afraid.
no, but if they get too comfortable, they go too bold. Like that stag lord.
Well, that Staglord is certainly changing things around here. Many of the bandits, even those who aren't under his banner, do bring him tribute.
Indeed. And there's a breeze, I know you haven't been around here long, but, with your connections, have you heard anything about this mysterious stag lord?
Well, I know he has ties to nature. From what I heard from the bandits I did take out from their camp, I did keep one alive before, sent them on their way. The Stag Lord is an expert marksman, and seems to favor magic. Primal nature. From what I know, he's a cruel and ruthless man. Not one to easily be dealt or talked to. But he respects strength. Yeah, I heard tell that there was a random lowlife from the River Kingdoms that randomly showed up to his gate. They were going to be beaten and worse, perhaps killed. But well, this individual proved themselves, slew those that would be her downfall, and in payment, showing her strength over those that failed him, made her a lieutenant. I mostly say this because, well, she was with the group that I encountered along the river. She fled with them, as well as with a ranger, a lover of hers, I think, somewhat north of where I encountered them. But, from what I gathered, she made quite an impression upon him, and those that she slew, well, I heard tell that they were risen up as zombies to work still for the Stag Lord.
Oh, he uses the magic of undeath then.
I don't know if he used it himself, but perhaps one within his court.
Interesting. Typically, from my experience, people with a more natural connection wouldn't dabble in such things.
Typically, yes. What I gathered, he's got a bit of a theme about him, very much in the line of Era still, but Ariel still does not work with such individuals. So, something's changed, I feel. I do know that his fortress lies somewhat to the south of here. I don't know exactly where. Well, when I was talking to, they were bleeding quite quickly, so I had to kind of... I ran out of time. Put it bluntly. Ran out of time.
This man or woman that escaped, I don't suppose they gave you their names.
No, but I can describe them for you. Don't mind me while I drop some handouts.
It's totally not Haps. I know.
It's totally Haps.
I can't remember the girl's name.
Cressel.
Shit, what is Crystal? Thank you.
Let's see, do I have them in the green belt folder? I do. Okay. So here's Haps. I just
imagine
zoom out.
Oleg grumbling the entire time right now.
He's being somewhat grumbly, yes. You can hear him just audibly, like in the background, just like as a background chatter, just. And then there's Crystal. I'll put below, so she's not overcome by images of tokens.
Where are you putting this?
They're on the map.
Oleg.
Yeah.
What was that?
They're on the Yellow Trading Post map. They're these giant handouts to the side. Which I will also put into your, and you guys don't have an NPC lab. Oh, you do, I'm just blind. Alright, Haps, Biden, and Crystal. I should give him a little title. Bandit Lieutenant of the Stag Lord.
Could you remind me what the NPC lab is?
It is in the Discord under Kingmaker's category called NPC Lab. 2 down.
Okay. Gotcha.
Bandit. I'm going to call you a captain. I'm going to call you a private.
Sergeant.
Well, they're maybe. I don't... I'm just going to call him...
Sergeant's under lieutenant. Typically.
Sergeant works for me then. It's not like that rank. They're lower than that, but it doesn't really matter. You just know that they're below Kressel in ranking.
Oh, you think of a corporal.
Corporal, yes. There we go. And corporal. The Stag Lord. Yeah, there you go. And you know what ranking they are within the military structure of the Stag Lord.
I'm just curious, when did this encounter with this group happen?
Yeah. As for your post-it, I just noticed in general chat, the bonus for not getting lost will only apply if the first check fails. I will then apply that bonus to see if you are lost or not. And if you have advantage, then that will apply to both the first check and the advantage check for not getting lost. Basically, if you roll like an 8 and that would trigger you getting lost, I would then apply your +4 to see, hey, does that trigger getting lost or is it just a normal failure? But it would not provide the +4 bonus to see if you find anything of interest, which is the big thing that Survival's doing. Alright.
But yeah, Nancy would ask after getting the description. So this encounter with these bandits, when did it happen? I'm just curious.
It was, about 9-10 days ago. I was, along the southern dire marches, before making my way northwards and found a river I was drinking from and they jumped me. So. They ran pretty soon thereafter. Didn't feel like giving chase, to be honest. I just wanted to get to Oleg's and rest, so.
Fair enough. Well, just because I'm curious, and I'm probably going to have to deal with these two sooner than later. What was your take on these two? I mean, the story of that woman coming in and earning her place through a fight. Quite impressive, honestly. Do you think there are people who could be talked with, or just going to continue on how they are?
Scroll down to get information on them.
Just trying to get her, like, she doesn't know the connection, and she had a raw interaction with them.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion of them as people?
Well, the man, he was quite belligerent, to be honest. Foul-mouthed, somewhat sadistic in a few ways. Say dim-witted as well. But he was a capable archer. I would say, in terms of if he's willing to converse, I don't think he's an idiot in terms of numbers. If you have the numbers, he will converse. He's not going to risk his life for something silly like that. But he is also the sort that, unless you've proven yourself strong, as I did, he'd rather take than to discuss. Simply ambush and strike first while they're unaware. As for the woman, well, she seemed to enjoy the activity of banditry. I wouldn't say she's quite as vicious as the man, but I think she enjoyed feeling alive within the sense of danger that combat brings with it. I think she could be talked to, but who's to say? She's at least smarter than he is.
Well, from the descriptions I've gotten of that man, that might not be hard to do. Mercy would kind of chuckle. But that is good information. I do thank you for that. Since you are connected to the guild, I'm sure you've heard of the charters the Sword Lords just gave out. My group and I are actually one of the adventure groups sent here to tame the Stolen Lands. So there's, I personally would prefer to handle the situation without just killing all the bandits, but to carry information of what type of people they are.
Well, if that is the way you wish to rule, not for me to judge. Many of them were simple people before, so it'd be worth a waste of life if you were to simply kill them.
Indeed, I find those who kill, very few kill for the pleasure of killing alone. It's usually other circumstances that force them to it.
Yes. Well, I do know that your task will be quite difficult. The numbers that I encountered along that stream were sizable. It was a 8-to-1 odds, and well, they did flee, but I've been doing this a long time. If they're outposts or simply just a random river stream crossing, as group sizes of that many, the Stag Lord is sure to have much more under their employ. I'd be careful.
Indeed.
But, as I mentioned earlier, being a representative of the Pathfinder Society, I do have access to mercenaries if you're ever looking for additional muscle, whether to protect you along the road, protect your findings, or perhaps, if you do manage to establish a foothold here, to protect your kingdom.
I would
That
definitely
said,
keep that in mind.
I am leaving first thing in the morning. I have a meeting with my contact. So, if you're wanting to pass information along to them, now would be the time to do so. I will be back here probably within a week.
Where is she heading? Back to,
Didn't mention specifically.
well,
She just said she's gonna go meet her contact.
your contact with the Pathfinder
Mhm.
Guild. Oh, would I do that now? Yeah. It's too early for that. He's not that brazen to start that yet. As of now, I don't really have any information, but I will keep that in mind in the future.
Fair
Thank you.
enough. Let's see here. You guys are currently on this day. Means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Memorials return to Oleg's. You are?
As that conversation winds down. By the way, anybody else interrupt me at any point, feel free to just face character doing face things. First time meeting NPCs, I don't want to
There's a lot
talk
of
too much.
NPCs.
People
Oh,
have input.
The other face character is willing to let you do the face character stuff because this face character is more of the eavesdropping and picking up information type of character.
Indeed, you're perfectly fine just sitting there listening to me talk to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Yep.
Alright.
I don't give a fuck for social situations.
While that is all going on, outside of the cavern, what are you guys doing? Arter, Kotak, and Ildor. Or Ilfrin.
Ildor.
I have a character from my Sunday game named Ildor. Some reason it popped up in my head, because that was last campaign, by the way.
Are they a dwarf?
No, they're human. They're a wizard.
Ugh. What an awful name for a human.
What an awful
Anyways.
name for a wizard.
It's an okay name for a wizard, but not a human one. Anyways, as I mentioned before, Ilfrin was filling out a sheet of paper to accompany his map. So he's not marking his map with all these details that were being described, but he has a map that's like a sheet of paper. It's like, oh, these coordinates or this location on the map, these nodes. So yeah, that's what he's doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Kodak will be polishing his hammers, making sure his chisel is nice and ready in case he needs to cast more magic.
All right.
Playing imaginary solitaire in his head, you know?
What about Arder?
Arder will enter in the stables and search for a shovel.
All right. Well, entering into the stables, you would find that the stables are fully stocked with horses. There is plenty of hay in here as well. There's even a little hand cart, which is the cart you guys purchased and brought into here. And there is a decent shovel as well. It's somewhat
He would
dirty.
go pick it up, and he would literally just like he would sheath his gun on his holster, pick up the shovel, and he just walk out. And on his way out, he'll just talk to just say a passing word. If you want to help, set up some traps. Follow me, and he'll be up to his no good nature and just be
Nah, I'm
outside.
good.
Be outside camp, just like maybe like right here.
All right. What kind of traps are you wanting to set?
Well, I went to do the old classic pit hole, and I don't think we got any wood from our pilfering, so can't do call traps. So that's probably I don't really know what I can do. What are my options?
Do you
Check back out.
have any feats that give you specialized options?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, obviously you can just dig a pit. That's not an issue right there. And there's supplies around here that you could cover it to a point where it can be obscured. Let me just go and bring this up.
I would like to point out that we do have specialized options. We can fill the bottom of the pit trap with alchemist fires.
It's true. You could do that.
But Arthur doesn't know that because no one wanted to help him.
It's true. Well, some of the people were inside, so they wouldn't have heard you ask. But let's see here. If you don't have any feats or the like, you could use I would say
Other than trap specialist, no.
trap specialist.
Which is just the ability to detect and
Trap finder.
disable traps. Yeah, trap
Okay,
finder.
trap finder. Okay, gotcha. You can give me a basic. See, if you're wanting to make a pit trap, you can just give me a harvest miner check. If you're wanting to do something like make a noose, you'll need some rope to do that. If you're wanting something more interesting, you're going to need some metal. So I think with what you have on you, being a shovel, all you can really do would be making a noose or a pit.
Yeah, noose or pit. A noose is just like a when you tie it to a tree and it snags one of them.
Yeah. Or, just might snag him and keep him still. But if you want to do a noose, you'd want to roll a lashing check.
A lashing.
Mm-hmm.
What is that under?
That is an adventure skill.
Is it?
Directly after knowledge is lashing, because they're in alphabetical order.
Oh, it is lashing. Okay, never seen that skill. And what was the pit skill?
That'd be harvest miner, which is a utility skill. Mostly because I'm looking at the skill list, I'm like, none of them really fit what I'm looking for, but that's the closest.
I'll do a miner because I have specialty in that.
All right. You spend the better part of the evening digging and digging. The soil itself is actually quite hard. About 10, 15 minutes into it, you think you could do this. Unfortunately, due to the time of year, if you were to continue with this trap, it would be a long endeavor, unless you have help. Essentially, you would have to be staying up past your normal bedtime. So you'd be,
That's fine.
staying up extra 4 hours.
The Arter would do it. He does not care.
All right. Well, I will need 4 body saves.
All right, this isn't gonna go well.
He
Okay,
might
so
still
this
have
is-
+1 because the
Yeah, it's still active.
the saving it's still sustained technically.
Mhm.
I have a feeling we're about to find someone laying face down in a shallow grave.
Yeah.
But also, there's I'm not sure if other characters would react once they found out that he was doing that outside or not.
I told you guys I was gonna dig a hole.
Well, you told 2 of us.
Yeah,
I feel like.
told too. Yeah. So it's up to them to whether or not to.
Well, I mean,
Oof.
you're gonna be doing this literally all day, so there's time for other people to find out.
No.
Yeah.
All night. You guys arrived
Okay.
at sunset,
You-
so.
Okay, one of our party members are gonna be doing something for all night,
Mm-hmm.
so Elfrin doesn't care, but others might. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Others might notice and be like, huh, what's going on here? Let me give it this handout so it looks a bit more pit-like. There we
I
go.
would probably assume he knows what he's doing, so he wouldn't, like ask questions.
All right. It is quite exhausting work, but you do manage to dig a sizable pit, about 10 feet deep within the area here. You can actually, if you want, where would you like your 10 by 10 foot deep pit?
I could press space like right here.
Right there?
Yep.
All right. Here is your pit. And now for covering it, I will need you to roll me a stealth or survival check to hide your pit.
Martial adventure. Not survival, stealth.
Right, you believe the pit is very well hidden. It is unlikely others will notice it. And because of that... Where is this symbol? We'll use you. It's fine. Have some snow.
That's a lot of snow.
It's covered. And just so you guys can see that there is in fact a pit there. It's fine actually. I'm just going to mark it so I know in the DM view that there's a pit there. Hidden lair, circle thing. Map. Alright, and then so you guys know that there's something there. There's a little icon, so you guys know there's a pit trap there. Alright. You have formed a pit trap. It is well hidden. You think that they will have a difficulty finding it. As, well, you basically made it look like it's just drowned there. There's just a fine layer of snow as you grabbed some of the nearby bramble bushes and some of the twigs and formed a very thin layer that you then coated with snow. So it looks like just a piece of snow within the area.
Nice. I assume that it takes me all day and I'll be exhausted by the end of it, so...
You are working
Right.
through the night. You don't go to bed till about 3 a.m.
Okay. That's fine.
But you do manage to do so, and it is basically what you're doing for the rest of the evening. Is there anything else anyone would like to do for the remainder of this day? Which I'm just going to put you back there until this has been determined.
If no one else is doing anything, I would end up talking to Beckle. Essentially, Nancy would segue into I believe Oleg mentioned your name was Veckle, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And basically, we don't necessarily have to go to the super detailed RP unless you want to.
Mm.
But for time wise, he seems like a hunter of sorts, and I would do the smoozing of, yeah, what do you know about the Legion? You seem to have been around here a lot longer, blah, blah, blah.
All right. Well, first off, he would tell you about Tusk Gutter, the most ornery boar you've ever seen, and he would point out its lair. That's the big thing he's going to tell you guys about. He actually
I
points at the bounty poster and like, I put that up.
So we've heard. At that point, hearing when he's like, yeah, I'll point out actual layers and stuff. I will. Hey, Jack, will you go get open so we can update our map with this info?
Oh, of course. I'll be right back.
All
Man,
right.
you're a fucking servant now. Jeez.
I
Go fetch this
actually-
gentleman, please.
So, for
Well,
purposes
no,
of what he will reveal to you on the
Sorry.
map, here we are. He's not going to reveal a lot of icons because he doesn't really know too much, but I will reveal some of them. He definitely reveals Tuskgutter's lair. I'm going to move your token through this here shadowy
hell yeah.
shadow as he
Oh,
will reveal it.
now we're gonna kill the shit out of that boar.
All right, and that is what he would reveal. The region he would reveal. And that is the Tuskgutter's lair. In terms of other locations, you would notice, you would see, be careful along this river. Bandits patrol it. With your knowledge of Honorial's saying she was attacked upon a river, it's likely this is the river that she mentioned, because she was pretty close to Oleg's. So perhaps that is somewhere where the bandit camp lies, is upon that river. Additionally, he would say to be careful of this region here. There's Fae within the area. Specifically, he would mention that there is a prankster of sorts, creating visions, tying his shoelaces, basically running him out of the area. So some form of Fae being is in this area. Let's see here. Anything else you would note down? I'm not revealing the icon for that one because he doesn't know where its nest is, but there's Fae in the area. He would say to be careful here, which I'm going to actually give this. Bam. Okay. As a bunch of hunters have filled this glade with traps, laying it out because apparently there's a large number of rodents of unusual sizes within that region, and they're trying to catch them and prove that they exist. So he would mark that on your map over this way. He didn't really explore too further out that way, but you know, he gives you something.
Unusual sized rats.
Yes.
Fucking A. It's always rats.
You would point out the Radish Patch's actual location, so it has now been marked as visible on your map.
Nice.
Yep, there you go. Alright. Kobolds. Love it. Figured that should probably be added in. Alright, anything else you would note down? Did I reveal that location? Let's see here. Wish that I could see this at the same time. Okay, cool. I did reveal it. I can. I'm a banana. I can look at stream while doing this. Okay. You would say that there is something of interesting somewhat close to Tuskgutter's lair. When he and his hunting companions fled from Tuskgutter's lair, he wasn't really aware of it because he was in and out of consciousness because, you know, he lost a leg. But his friends said they swear they saw something interesting, an old ruined structure within this hex. They don't know exactly where, but there is something there that seems to have a symbol, or more accurately, a statue, a stag-headed humanoid figure. So there's something there of interest.
Hmm. I'm sure it's a coincidence that there's a stag-headed statue in a region with a bandit known as the Stag Lord. Hmm.
And that is what he would reveal.
Good coincidence.
All right. Look at all that. Your map is expanding.
Look at all that XP.
Yeah, we get XP by proxy, right? They
No.
already explored
You
it.
have to explore it.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, look, there's like 10 XP right here waiting for us.
I feel like I should mark the explorations out with some form of symbol.
On the bright side, it'll now take us less time to explore it.
It's true.
But you should do what I did, Sage, and get a very opaque hex. The overlay on hexes we've already explored, so they're just a slightly different shade.
I'll do this. Hey, look at that. That's actually a little too hard to see. I'm gonna change that. Anyways, that is what you find out.
Oh, thank you,
Need to-
Beckle.
Tusker.
Hi, Tuscutter. I don't know why I'm doing this voice now. I'm not a dwarf. But you know, Tuscutter's in the area. And there you go. That should be much clearer. But
And that was
those are your
Veckle
explored
giving
hexes.
us the map information.
Yeah, it was Veckle getting
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now that you have given information, anything else you would like to do for the evening before retiring for the night?
There's every character I know, Proud isn't coming. Arthur's not coming in for a while. But does Kotak come in when Ilfrin comes in, or do you stay outside?
He'd probably come in when Ilfrin goes inside.
After our conversation, Nancy would look to the group. Like, before we head to bed, let's, and you kind of gesture towards the table in the corner, and let's discuss our plans for tomorrow. Where, Nancy would look around. Where's our feathered friend? He's still outside?
I believe he's outside preparing traps. That's what he said. But
From the sounds of it, he was digging a hole.
I need a composure check. Where is
You're gonna fail.
composure?
You're gonna fail.
I'm just gonna roll
another
D20.
5. Let's go.
Let's see.
Huh?
Okay.
How low did you
Yeah.
roll?
I rolled a 7, but my composure is
Probably
a
okay.
7. It's a
Okay.
14.
14's not bad.
Ilfrin just moves over to the table, not really like waiting for his response.
I'm going to go fetch Arden. I'll be right back.
I like your
Look.
little walking. I like that.
You know,
Full character.
he
Indeed.
doesn't slide on the floor. You know, he walks.
Oh, Ilfrin
Kinda.
glides like fucking butter on a hot fucking
Does the teeth pose as well?
yeah.
Where is it? The
Only on the
Russian-
haters.
The Russian ballet walk where they keep your upper body completely steady at the same level with every step. So it looks like they're gliding across the floor.
That mic is just full of static there, that devil.
Yeah, sorry. If I hit the the dial on the side of it, it goes full static.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. There's definitely a thing. But as you leave the outpost itself, Nasi, you would see that there is indeed a feathered friend, Arter, who's currently digging a pit within the hardened earth.
Darcy, are you okay here, Arthur? Or what are you up to? As I just watch you digging. Just burst there.
You are muted, Burst.
I'm muted on Discord. My bad. He will
Oh,
say to
okay.
you, "Someone has to do the hard work, motherfucker," and he just digs.
I see that, but why?
Who else is gonna do it, motherfucker? He just digs.
Well,
Digs.
but why is it needed?
What other plan do you have?
The plan we talked about yesterday before we went exploring. We're going to try to talk to them first. We were hoping to avoid a fight.
Yes, but if there comes a fight, we can get them to this area, and it's a win-win.
Yes, but we know they're coming from this direction. If they
That's right.
wa- if
They're
they
coming
walk
from the
into the
west.
pit, which this would be the west.
This is the east.
That's just
There's-
wrong direction.
Well, hold
So
on.
we're digging on the wrong side.
No, hold on,
Oh
hold
my
on.
god, he's digging on the wrong side.
Sage,
Yes.
Sage. Would the gate not be facing the road? Which means this map is upside down.
The map is how to put it?
There's the
Not
road is on
fully
the
accurate.
north. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If the road is to the north of Oleg's, and so there'd be
No.
there.
The overland map is not fully accurate. It's a loose representation of what things are. This is accurate. This is north is this way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if
Well,
like I go to the
regardless-
actual map itself with the
So-
compass on it,
so
it shows north
Oleg's-
is that way.
So Oleg's is to the north of the road.
Yes.
Okay.
Look
there
at
we go.
me taking the map for use.
I mean, that is the image for the base game. That cropped horribly, and it even gave me the okay.
God, it's ugly. Holy shit.
Just
Sorry,
squelch
anyways.
freaking. I'm just gonna.
Wow.
Here we go.
No, I meant the original Oleg's in general. It was ugly, not
Oh yeah,
like,
you know it's
Yeah.
save.
not the image.
That-
Fuck.
That is way too symmetrical.
Yeah, no, yeah. Anyways,
But anyway,
that's Oleg's.
if one of them come over here and like step and fall into the trap, they might think we're trying to attack them immediately. And
that's-
this is a very busy traveled road. I mean, one of the hunters could fall in, a horse.
Good. Dig.
No, not. What do you mean? What?
Good.
Not good. And now she's kind of exasperated, like,
They're expected in one day, right?
yes, they're supposedly coming tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. Who else is going to leave and enter besides the bandits at this hour? I assume that it's
There
probably
are
like
there's half a-
close to like night, right?
There's half a dozen people at the bar right now that are planning to leave in the morning.
We could just tell them. Are you gonna not be a kind denizen as you say you are, and say there's a pit here? Or are you gonna let them fall in?
Darcy blinks as the bird begins gaslighting him.
They have been out there for a while now since Nasi left. Yeah, it is curious.
I mean,
Not
it
that
sounds
long,
like It sounds like you weren't going to say anything. When I mentioned random travelers from
I
within
was
the
gonna say
tree.
something. I am gonna say something as soon as I return and dig this hole.
Looking at the pit he's digging, Nasi, he's very early on still. It's going to take him a while to dig this pit. You don't know how deep he intends to go, but
I
for
mean,
a
yeah,
pit trap to be effective, he has to go at least 10 feet. And,
Nancy has profession minor, actually.
well,
So
give me a profession
I'm
minor
looking.
check.
Actually, let me double check. I think I do. I can't remember if I picked that one or something else. No, never mind.
Okay.
I haven't taken it yet. I took blacksmithing first.
Dicky diggy hole indeed. It's going to be a bit.
I've dug in the earth during winter. That seems like it's going to take you hours. And we need you well rested for tomorrow. We were getting ready to discuss the plan. Actually, that's why I came out here to get you. I don't I don't disagree with making traps in the future, but I don't think we actually need it today.
Well, it won't be today by the time I complete it. Capiche?
Okay, we don't need it tomorrow.
We kind of do. Because they're coming in the next 2 days.
Yes, and we. If, have you been ignoring what I just said?
No.
You're going to do this regardless of what they say, aren't you?
It's either the pit gets done today or the pit gets done tomorrow. Your choice. Or should I say tomorrow or the next day? And unless you have another shovel, I don't really see how you're contributing to my project.
All they were saying is this pit seems like a good idea and effort and heart, but I don't think the effort will be actually useful for the current circumstances.
So says you.
Yes, I just said it.
And I disagree.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back in and make a plan. Uh,
Okay, you can tell me about it when I wake up at 10 o'clock in the
yeah, I'm going to assume that's going to be part of the plan then. Because they might show up earlier. Well, good luck with this. At that point, Nazi tried.
Yes, he
Nazi
did
tried.
try. Watch, 20 sessions from now, something's going to trigger that pit trap. For good or ill.
Gonna have to make some horse glue afterwards.
I'm going to walk in and just sigh. At this point, Nazi walks in, just pinching the brow of his nose. And then clear his throat and kind of address the rest of the tavern. Just, if anyone's traveling east, be careful. There's a bit of a hole in the ground on the side of the road. Don't want anyone to fall in.
Why?
That is what I would like to know too, Oleg. That is what I would like to know too.
I think we're all curious as to the reason for a hole.
Ardor is preparing traps for the bandits, apparently.
Why?
Because in his word, somebody has to do it, motherfucker.
That certainly sounds like Ardor.
And then he told me, since I don't have a shovel, I'm not really helping, so I came back in.
Jack will just pinch the bridge of his nose, getting the migraine from association.
Well, I hope he's getting a good workout.
I mean, that ground is frozen solid. He's going to be out there all night.
Well, doesn't sound like my problem, but we'll see in the
Indeed,
morning.
indeed. For now, I'm going to. Anyway, I'm planning for tomorrow if the group we expect to show up. My intentions were to have Ardor on the roof, hidden with his rifle, but I don't think we can rely on that at this point. He's probably going to be asleep, depending what time they show up. If not, we can inform him then. But when we tried to talk to them, Kotak, I was actually hoping you would be outside at the court for the initial conversation. Another competent looking fighter would be useful. And then I figured Ilprin, if you just wanted to sit by the fire and look like yourself. And then if Ardor was sitting on the roof and Jack, you in the stable to reinforce if we do get into a fight. That was my initial idea.
Oprah looks a little incredulous when you're just like, just be you, is basically what you just said. And he just like,
Yes! You're the round car. You're a tree with swords. They don't know what to take you for. And you're just sitting over on the bench, acting like you don't care. Which you typically act like you don't care.
that is
Perfect.
because I don't, yes.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Fair enough. He's happy with that, actually. He's like, all right. He wasn't taking it up front. He was just like, what the fuck?
But yeah, any thoughts on that, Jack? Are you fine with waiting on your site?
I would prefer to get a visual on the individuals you're talking to at some point, but I'm fine with lurking. It's my common method, actually.
Indeed. I'll leave that up to you. Be wherever you feel you'll be comfortable. And if you want that vision, I mean, you could go up to one of the upper levels or whatnot. My thought is, uh, if they see you with your alchemy supplies, they may purchase you. And from what I've learned, Haps seems to be quite a capable archer. So they will have range capabilities.
Yes, finding cover would probably be the best idea for then. Unfortunate.
What about you, Contact? Does that sound fine?
Sounds good enough for me. I do have a question. Ilfrin and Jack, I believe. Do any of you aim with your type of attacks? I know Ilfrin used magic, but I don't know if you aim that.
The pods I
I-
spawn, I do. Yes.
I do aim. I have to aim to throw.
Okay. I will be sure to give you some assistance on that part with magic early in the morning.
Understood.
All right. Yes.
Your help is appreciated.
Darcy will actually just start a rough conversation of what are people's capabilities? Of like, hey, what spells do you actually have? This, that. Basically, the stuff I already know from helping you guys with character creation, I know in character now. And then, of course, Jack, what you came and when we privately the day before.
Yes.
I would not review them, so don't worry.
Anything else you guys would like to do for the evening?
I don't
Go
believe so.
sleep off a migraine.
All right. Well, before we get to that, very much appreciate the subscription there, Duke. Is wholly appreciated. And also, you have
Hell
fancy
yeah.
emotes. Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got the tree's approval.
Tree's approval indeed. But
Did
yes,
somebody say Amazon Prime subscription?
yes, one could use their Amazon Prime free subscription if you so desire, but, it's fine. Anyways, our companions, you have decided to end the evening. So, I need to know when you guys intend to wake up.
Well, first I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to wake up early just to fill in the hole.
What?
My God.
I was expecting
Someone
that.
could trip in it.
It's true. It's
I
true.
didn't care that much.
Question is, would you find it?
It's true. You have to find it
Oh,
first.
that's a good question. Maybe you'll fall in the pit.
Watch it's used tomorrow on a player.
Oh
Well,
my god, my son.
I mean, at some point I can go out during the digging of the hole to find it, and then go back out when it's done.
You just like peek over the wall.
Yeah, just like, okay, it's there.
That's a good answer. That's a good
That's
answer.
a good answer, yeah. Intelligent answer. That is a high intelligence class answer right there.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's the 18 alchemist
But would your
Yeah.
character be smart enough to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
18 intelligence.
He mentioned
yeah.
mentioned it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna base actions on some character's actual intelligence,
Yeah.
but he also has high int.
He also
So
mentioned
Yeah,
himself,
yeah.
too.
his
Jesse
intellect
could,
is notable.
Jesse could never live up to his character's intellect.
You're
Shots
incorrect.
fired. Intelligence
Fuck
is
you.
14.
Suck it.
Any which ways, we're just gonna go down the list. I know you're gonna be waking up, as you said, around 10, Ardor.
Can I just roll a d8? I guess.
For, like, how long
How many
after?
hours?
Well, you're definitely getting a long rest, unless you don't want a long rest, in which case I can give you exhaustion instead.
So yeah, it's either you sleep the full 8 or you were, tired as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, which,
What does exhaustion do in Unbound?
it's bad.
it's bad. A bunch of negatives.
I'll go
Yeah,
grab it for
everything.
you. Let's see here.
It really sucks because I actually have to go fill in that hole, which means I'm going to suffer from exhaustion too.
Alright, exhaustion is a
Man.
tier 5 condition that
You
saps
don't
the
have
character.
to fill up the hole, okay? He did that for a reason. No,
Okay,
you don't.
in character he wants to. That's the thing. In character he wants to. I'm
Mm-hmm.
surprised that Nasi isn't the one that fucking is gonna do it. He's just like, fuck it, I'll leave it go.
It's true.
You
It's a
said,
little weird.
you said I'm not also planning on it. Let's be real here.
To be fair,
I ain't
I'll
getting up
exhaust the
early
thing
for
about
that.
filling up the hole. But he's also like, maybe I'll kill a bandit, so maybe I'll keep it. He's on the fence right now. But
Also, I would say filling the hole back up is easier than digging it out in the first place.
you'd actually gain
It's
fatigued
easier.
first, but if you
Mhm.
are restless once more, you would then gain exhaustion. Fatigued is not as bad, but it's still pretty bad. It gives you active reduction 2 and weaken 4, and you are unable to charge or run. I believe mechanically you're looking at a -4 to damage, as well as a -2 to attack rolls and AC. Attack rolls and skill
Oh, yeah.
checks, not AC.
Yeah, so right, every skill check, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So every skill is -2, and then a -4 to damage.
That's very bad.
If you decide to become exhausted instead of fatigued, that'd become worse in that, well, it's -4 to every skill, a -8 to every damage, and you can only take 1 action per turn.
Wow.
Exhaustion's painful. There's a
That
reason
is
why
extremely
if you
painful.
ever use your stamina, you do not want to use it all because you become fatigued.
Mm-hmm.
and if you're already fatigued, you become exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're already exhausted, I don't know, you probably pass out or something.
I'd consider it unconscious after that. But your final stamina point is generally reserved for a oh shit, shit's going down. We need to use this to save the party. Or maybe it's like the last combat, and you're like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. That seems like a full 8. But I would like to try and roll perception on each of their attempts to come back and to sneak on him. He already knows. Now he knows where it is, but
So you're going to
Whoever-
attempt to heal us when you're getting up? Or when we are waking up? Because if you're, like, where are you going to bed?
He's talking about while he's working on the pit.
you know what? I'm gonna go to sleep in the hole.
Do you have
Yes, it's turning
blankets?
into a grave.
Oh
You're
god,
gonna
bro.
freeze
You might actually
You're
die.
about to
Do you-
die.
Do you have blankets?
Oh my
Do you
God.
have winter
I do.
clothing?
No.
Do you have fire?
Yeah, I think I have a campfire set.
Okay.
You can't fire in the hole.
Doesn't that, like, defeat the purpose of a hidden pit?
It does, yeah.
It does.
You're gonna have to rehide it if you sleep in it. Actually, you've never hidden it yet, but
Never did hide
yeah,
it. Never did
if
hide
you will have to get a new roll to hide it if you do sleep in it.
it. Why not just make the roll until I'm done with it?
Bro.
Well, it's already made. That's not an issue. It's just if you're choosing to sleep in it, you're gonna need to hide it in the morning, which means you would need a new check because hours
Oh.
have passed.
Let me check and see if I have camping set. Campfire.
The plot thickens.
And
No, but I could probably make a fire.
well, you can always give me a survival check if you want to make a fire.
I am curious how the duck decided to sleep in the hole.
I mean, yeah, if
Mm.
you're sleeping in the hole, based off what we're saying, remember, you don't know we're planning this.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But it feels like no, he doesn't
Trust
want
me, I'm
anybody
trying to
screwing
save
with
your
us.
character. I'm pretty sure both of us would still fill in the hole even if you're in it.
Shots
Really?
fired.
I don't know.
Look, I might do like a couple of handfuls of dirt to wake him up. I'm like, oh, we didn't see you down there. Get out of the hole. I wouldn't bury you alive. I'm not.
You're not a bad guy. You're just a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm not a dick.
It's kind of funny. You said he would be asleep when the bands come, and I just imagine him coming in like 9 a.m. and he's sleeping in the hole.
I didn't say when they'd be
Yeah.
arriving, but
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah, Bruce, if you're trying to do a long rest, that means you're not waking up till 11
Mm-hmm.
in the afternoon.
no, 11 a.m.
I mean, you're welcome to, well, yeah, 11 a.m., but close to noon.
Mhm.
That, I mean, yeah. Go for it, man.
I mean, you could wake up earlier, but you will be suffering from not having a long rest. So, it is up to you if you want to sleep it out, or if you want to wake up early. If you are wanting to camp out in the hole, you will need to roll it again to hide it, because the hole would not have been hidden in the first place. You cannot hide it while you're in it.
No, I assume not.
But if you're wanting to sleep in the inn, there's no real rolls required. You're just sleeping in the inn. It's nice and cozy.
Okay, what checks do I need to make to sleep in the hole?
You'll
said
need survival to make it so it's
survival?
warm enough that you do not freeze to death in the night. Because again, it is winter.
It is winter. Okay.
And pretty much just that, just survival. And if you have any tools or items that could help with this, that would be notable.
Just flint and steel, I think.
Well, if you're wanting to make a campfire, we can consider that as part of your survival to make your hole comfortable.
I'm waiting for the net 20. I want to see this happen.
It's up to you if you want to rest out here, or if you want to just go inside.
It's not in character knowledge, but one thing about Ardor is that he's a stubborn duck, as all beastkin probably are.
I feel like that was shown with the conversation about the hole in general. before this decision to potentially bury it. Yeah.
So but I don't know. I didn't really get. He doesn't really know too much about the party to really be like somebody's gonna fuck
Well,
with this.
I will say, Carter, you dress fairly snappy, yeah?
Snappia.
Snappy. You know,
Yeah.
like you dress with, nice
You
chic clothing.
stylish.
You're
Yep.
stylish. You're styling.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to ruin your threads by sleeping in a pit of dirt? Or would you just go inside into the tavern and sleep? Because if you have a choice to have a bed to sleep at, rather than cold, hard earth that is actively sapping your body warmth, unless you can make a fire, which will determine a survival check.
Why not like add like a bedroll and
Yeah, I mean, you could sleep out here, but it's also a bedroll is not the same as a bed. Anyone who's been camping knows that very well.
Okay.
So it's up to you if you want the comfort from your character's standpoint, or if you're like, I've been working on this hole for several hours. I can dig it deeper. Let's continue on and just sleep in it.
Mm.
But from my knowledge of your character, yes, you are stubborn, but you're also dressed fairly styling, so you would be. It's a little weird to not sleep in the tavern, but you're also fresh. I mean, this is our third session, so I don't fully have a grasp of your character just yet. Up to you.
I know, and I can't really ask the question of what do I need to be. It's just up to my decision on what
Yes.
I want to do.
Entirely yours.
Indeed, yeah.
Let me look at my.
I will say your decision will have impact.
Yeah, most definitely. Unless I roll that 20, which maybe.
Who knows? I might have cursed you. I might have blessed you. Who knows?
Do I
I
have
don't
to
know if-
have? Go for it. What?
No, I don't know if the net 20 is a blessing or a curse if you roll it.
This is true. Consequences still will happen, regardless of how well you do.
Really? Resting outdoors is that risky?
It's not that
be.
risky. It's just the fact that their bandits might be coming, and if your thought that the east was in fact west, they'll definitely see you. So,
Right.
I mean, your character has
Would
enough intelligence to know that.
would my character know that was east, in fact west? Not in fact west.
Well, that would be more of a survival check. So, what is your survival bonus? Your flat bonus to survival.
4.
All right, and do you have training in it, or is it just
No.
from attributes? Okay. From your initial station, you can give me a survival check to determine if that was east or west. But you would not just naturally know, because you aren't trained in
Okay.
skill. You can give me a check.
We did come from where the bandits, we came back to Oleg's training post where we thought the bandits would have come from. So he could have.
Yeah, it's not a high
Well,
DC.
that-
Yeah, just
Hmm. Yeah, I guess.
all right. You know that this is in fact the east side. Are you wanting your pit on the west side?
Yes.
Okay.
He is.
It's easy enough to move it. Just gonna shucky ducky the pit over here. Where do you want it? Like right here?
Right here.
Right there. Okay. Whoop. Look, there's a pit trap there now. All right. Now then, are you sleeping inside or outside?
I don't know after that roll. I don't want to take in-person knowledge outside, but hang on, I'm looking at my items.
Let's see here. I'll bring up the sheet,
Yeah.
see if there's any items that I would know would help you. If not, then I think at this point, since we have been discussing this for a while, I'll make an executive decision for you.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see here.
My bad. I just
All good.
thinking of what else I could do. No.
Looking at your gear, nothing would really help with survival. Like, you have a basic kit, but that's not really anything that would provide any immediately obvious beneficial effects. So you'd be using just flat survival. And you would, from the looks of it, you also don't have a cold weather outfit, so you're going to be freezing. I would highly suggest going inside.
Mhm.
You have a gun or a burglar's outfit, which is not protected against the cold.
No.
So I would suggest going inside. And with your character's high intelligence, you would know that unless you have a campfire and you have it going the entire night, which will be potential for gaining fatigue anyways, you're gonna not sleep well. You might even gain some form of frostbite or the like if you do sleep out.
Okay. He's gonna at the end of the shift. I decided he's gonna leave a note, a very finely written note, sealed, at the bottom of the pit.
All right.
He's gonna go in because I don't feel like that's worth risking it.
All right. Well, send me what the contents of the note are, and you're heading on inside.
Yeah, I will DM you.
Excellent. All right. Now that has been determined. You guys will rest up. I need to know, when are you waking up, Nasi?
Well, after conversations and stuff, would it be safe to say we could get to bed like it's winter right now, so what? Dark is at 7 o'clock
No, more like 5.
or 8 or 5.
Like 5:30.
Oh, so we were here that early.
Yeah.
If that's the case, go to bed by like 9. So then I would be up by like 5 in the morning.
Okay.
I would go to bed to be up before dawn. Not just to fill in the hole, but also to just get ready, do a morning look around the thing. Just I haven't really inspected Oleg's yet in depth, so I would take the time to do that.
Okay.
Is there actually a back way in and out of the fort I don't know about? That type of thing.
So we have you at 5. We have you at 11.
Uh,
5.
so if he's gonna be up at 5, then Ilfrin would be as well. Just I feel like that'd be the agreed time.
Okay.
Is that correct, Nasi?
Yeah, around like 8 or 9. I don't know when
Okay.
dawn would be. I don't know when sunrise would be. But he would go to bed to be up probably half an hour before sunrise.
Okay.
And be like,
Well,
I'm going to bed now to be up at this time. Do as you will.
well, okay. So that's fine. Ilfrin will follow suit. And instead he'll just be getting the fire ready and also sending off AB to just fly above and keep an eye out for anything strange. Like just having them do the scout trick and looking
Okay.
around the. Am I good? I'm just gonna put my token next to the fire because he'll start the fire up in the morning.
For timeline, so you're wanting to wake up like an hour before or 2 hours before dawn? Because dawn is about 7 a.m.
Here then, 5 is fine.
5.
5
Okay.
is fine.
5. Excellent.
Mm.
It is important to know the timeline, because I know time. What about Kotak? When are you waking up?
About 6. I think he needs his beauty sleep.
Okay.
Damn straight he does. I mean, what?
All right. What about Jack?
I mean,
Hey.
Jack would try to wake up an hour before everyone else because he doesn't know anyone else is going to be helping digging the hole or not, or filling in the hole.
You're gonna try to
Ilfrin
wake
definitely
up
doesn't
or
give a
or
fuck.
Yeah, gonna wake up at 4 to deal with it.
all right.
Ilfrin's definitely not helping. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole.
So
Mm,
Doesn't
guys
expect anyone to help him.
achieve a long rest. No problem there. At least some of you. We'll get to Ardor in a moment. During the 4 a.m. morning wake up, Jack, you would find yourself waking up from your slumber within the inn second floor, which I will put you guys on over there real quick. Feel free to change your bed if you so desire, but yeah. And so you wake up first, Jack. It's still early in the morning. There's not really any light coming from outside. It's quite dark, but you can hear the faint tweeting of birds. Perhaps because there's in fact a bird next to you and a bird next to Ildor. Or I keep saying Ildor.
Yes.
Ilfrin.
Well, no, the bird's up in the air.
Yes.
Oh no, he's up early. He's up
And
early.
he's an hour early before you. So
Right, my bad. Okay, sorry.
All right, yeah, I would get out of bed and gather my stuff, go down to deal with the hole. Try not to wake anyone.
all right, roll me a stealth.
That is Errol that I'm selected. I need to select Jack. Well, okay.
All right. Well, you try your best, but unfortunately the floorboards here are quite creaky. Any of those who are light sleepers might stir a little bit, but it's it's more of an annoyance than anything else. Just make your way down. Doesn't actually hinder your sleep.
Ilfrin definitely wakes up for a moment. A little bit with a start, but then he sees who it is and goes back to sleep.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hide my presence so much as I'm trying not to wake people up.
Yeah, you're
because
trying to
they need their
tiptoe, and
sleep.
then you hit the
Mhm.
squeaky board, and everyone's like, "All right,
Indeed.
yeah."
All right. Making your way downstairs, you would actually see Honorial is currently packing up, ready to leave. These two would be in their bed sleeping. And these two would be gone. Or these three would be gone.
Okay. Hopefully they didn't fall in a hole.
Yeah, early?
Holy moly!
Yes, there's extra work to be done this morning.
Right. Well. Hope your work goes fine. Just packing up
And
now to
yours.
head out. So. Hope to see you again in about a week's time. Or a bit past that.
Yes, I look forward to reacquainting.
She'll give a nod, pick up her satchel, which she puts a last, from looks of it, a large case of maps or scrolls or something like that into the back, and then slips the backpack on her shoulders and makes her way out.
come on, do it.
Unfortunately, she's heading east. She's heading to rest off. So.
I mean, I can hope at least.
I mean, if you kept it on the eastern edge, she probably wouldn't have fell into it. She has really high perception, hence the name.
And I mean, I warned everyone in
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No one inside the inn were going to fall into it unless they completely forgot. Which some of them might have, actually, because they were drinking.
Broken didn't hear. How early
He didn't.
did Broken wake up?
Oh, he's going to be sleeping for a bit.
Okay.
Boken, more like broken legs.
You know, he
He
takes his
already
time
has a
whenever
bird.
he's at Oleg's to sleep in a good extra 2 hours since he's on an actual bed.
Broken leg.
Yeah.
Sorry, broken leg.
You already has a bum leg. He doesn't need another one.
All right.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
He's actually one of the reasons why Jack is doing this. I'm just saying.
Well, there you go.
Alright, does Jack have a point of good or something? What the fuck?
No, he is not good. This is why
He's
he'd
not.
be happy to.
Oh.
He would be happy to fill in that hole with the duck inside. He'd be okay.
Yeah. Dude, you're being the Skeletor. I am not nice right now. I'm just saying.
Well, you make your way to the door. You'd see that Honorial is currently leaving the area.
Yeah.
So, exiting, you can see generally the vicinity where they were digging. I mean, checking in on them. It wasn't really requiring a check. Finding the hole itself, with the lack of light and you being a human, though, does require a perception check.
I will take out my, I believe, torch. Use that. Because I'm not going to work in the dark.
Yes, I will give you advantage because you now have a light source. You're mostly just looking for any distinguishing features of, like, this bush is right here, which is right next to the pit.
Yeah.
It's not a high DC because you knew exactly where it was before, so the DC is not as high as the 21 I believe they rolled, but it is, it's up there. If you were Rana Bandit, the DC would be 21. Doesn't matter, you got it even without. Alright. You move on over here and you see that there is in fact a pit. It's covered by snow. There's some loose twigs giving it enough surface that the snow can just be placed on there and hiding the pit itself, while causing anyone who would be walking upon it to fall in. Anyone of moderate size.
Lovely. Jack is going to unpack his mining equipment and begin filling in the hole with wherever the loose dirt that came from the hole is.
Do you remove the tip top first, or you just ignore it and push everything onto the brambles and hope it caves in?
Push everything onto the brambles, hope it caves in. Brambles will help fill in the hole better.
Okay.
So.
Just gonna put this in GM notes so it's noted. Alright, there we go. I've added the note. Actually, I probably should put that in the pit itself. Yeah. Pit. There you go. If I ever need that, I have it.
Actually, I just realized that if I don't fill it in properly, the brambles could act as spikes if the... Ugh.
Well, for full context, they're not brambles, but they are like loose twigs.
Yeah. Oh, they're not... Okay, so they're not anything extremely...
No, they're very light. A bunny wouldn't trigger it, but a small creature would, 100% would.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll just fill it in with the brambles falling in.
Okay. Takes you a few piles of dirt, and by a few I mean about the first one, and you start hearing creaking, and the second one, the pit just caves in, and there's now snow, and just loose twigs and dirt, and as you continue to fill it in. It takes you a couple hours. Actually, not a couple hours, that would be digging it. It takes you about 30, 40 minutes to fill it in.
Okay. Yeah, I would also, pat it down, make sure that it's all solid ground and everything.
Alright.
Just make sure it's safe for the next traveler, because I am a kind individual.
Are you kind?
I'm kind.
Well, I have hidden on that pit now a clickable for me in DM view of what the note says at the bottom of that pit. It's now buried. So if anyone ever digs that up, I know what it says.
No one's gonna ever do. Oh my god.
No one even.
And you put a note at the bottom of a covered pit. Who knew the note was there?
We went from fucking Kingmaker to Notemaker. What the fuck?
Alright, successful in your mission, you return back into the fortress, I assume. And not long thereafter, Ilfrin and Nossi would wake up. Actually, since you were outside, and it took you almost an hour, and I just rolled a d3 to see when they would arrive, give me a perception check, Jack.
Oh no, already?
I was
Jesus.
thinking if they were going to arrive at dawn, or if they're going to arrive an hour after dawn, or 2 hours after dawn. And I rolled a 1, so they're arriving at dawn. They're not here
Alright,
yet,
so
but you can see them on the horizon, potentially. It's a high DC.
So everyone ends up at 7 or like before
No.
dawn.
I'm oblivious. I found the I found the pit. Let me see if the bird notices.
Alright, so you make your
you know
way back
Here,
inside.
one
You didn't notice
second.
them when you were outside, but as your bird friend was flying around.
Here we go.
This
Wait,
is
would
what
we be
you-
up? I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
apologize.
This is about 15 minutes before you wake up. Those
Oh
rolls.
my god, bro!
Cursed.
Oh, this game truly is cursed.
You can fill in the pit. You can't find people. Okay.
Okay.
But you make your
Well-
way back in about 15 minutes later. What are you doing for the rest of the evening or the morning? Jack.
I would offer to help the kitchen make breakfast. Actually,
Well, they're not even awake themselves.
Yeah,
you woke
you're
up
not awake
hours
yet.
before dawn.
well, then I will prepare breakfast. I guess maybe. Let me double check to see if this is a good idea. Alchemy's sort of like cooking.
Oh no.
Would you like to go into the hearth and make some alchemical foods?
Yes,
All
I need
right.
some nutritious supplements.
All right, give me an alchemy check.
Oh no.
Nutritionally, this is all they need. It's gray mush.
Oh,
I'm
nutrient
sorry,
taste.
guys.
God.
Kindness isn't always
Come on.
goodness.
Another one, come on.
No, it's a utility skill.
That should be the first utility skill. Okay. So, as you're beginning to stir the pot, you find a few provisions nearby. You think you find something that it looks like oatmeal, and you're like, that could work. So you toss that in. You think that there's some chemicals in your alchemy pouch that you think would work well to add some flavor. So you're like, let's throw in some, mugwort or, maybe some Eye of Newt. This will be fun. That makes a good potion, right? It starts smelling decently okay. The mugwort's giving it an interesting aroma. For those upstairs, after about 15 minutes of them cooking, you now wake up to the smell of oatmeal?
Yes, the famous meal, oatmeal.
And then the way you said that.
It's intentional.
This is
Nancy will open his
peculiar.
eyes and blink. And look around the room to see if the bird is asleep here. And just like, oh god, it's a bird burning something down there. He dug the pit randomly, who knows what he's going
You
to
look
do.
around. Arter's currently snoozing on the corner bunk.
I forgot.
No
This
problem
is a
there.
craft check, so I get automatic advantage for my bird.
Well, it might be
Or
better.
not advantage. Aid.
Yeah, I'd make 8. Okay,
So it is better.
+1.
Yeah.
Okay, 23. Same description.
Yeah.
It's meal. It has oats in it. It's oatmeal.
It's edible.
Yeah.
It's oatmeal.
I'm going to grab my pack and my armor and just walk downstairs.
All right. The annoying
I
bird
will
will begin
also do
chirping
that.
in your ear, I assume, Ilfrin, waking you up. That's like an alarm clock.
Fucking name. Like alarm fucking talk. Get out of my face, you fucking bird.
I will see Jack cooking, drink. Well, I have no reason to doubt him and work outside.
All right.
You will
Wait.
have all the reason to doubt him.
Annoying bird can give me a perception check.
When I go outside with the shovel, because I don't
Sorry.
know the pit's filled in, may I also make a perception check?
This one's not as hard to find because they dug it in and filled it in with dirt. Unless you topped it with snow to then hide the fact there was a pit there,
Whoa.
it's pretty obvious filled in pit.
So
I actually thought I would have done that, considering I
Oh.
don't want bandits to go, oh, that's an obvious pit.
Fair. Then give me a perception check. Or, perception check for Nasi. I was going to have you roll a survival, but no. Yeah, no, there's a filled-in hole right there.
So Ilfrin settles down at the campfire with his leathers on, sends off the bird to go scout, and I feel like it immediately comes back.
So, your bird flies up a little bit, tweets about 3 times in rapid
Ooh.
succession, and then flies back down to you and begins tweeting rapidly.
Oh.
Do you understand your bird?
No, but I understand enough. How about that?
It seems panicked.
Okay, I guess I've spent years with this bird, so yes, yes.
It is
Okay,
giving you the panic signal of incoming.
right.
Incoming.
Okay, Ilfrin, we'll make double time to go find
All right.
Nasi here.
Nasi, at this point, you'd be at the
Nasi.
pit entrance, be like, oh yeah, okay, it is filled in. And then you look up, and with your natural 20, you see there is incoming. They're still about an hour out, but there is a band of, from the looks of it, 6 individuals with 1 riding a horse, making their way from the south.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there. And by the way, Nasi's like not in his normal outfit right now. He's kind of in his air quote undergarments, but it's cold, so enough to be not freezing.
Mhm.
But he expected to do hard labor, so not that much. Just standing there with the shovel on his shoulder as you come rushing out, Ilfrin. Yes, I see it. Since we don't have as much time to prepare as I thought. But I'm glad Jack already took care of this. I'll kind of stab the shovel into where the pit was before grabbing it. Oh boy. I'll go wake Kotek.
Do you want me in position as before stated?
Yes, go ahead and just relax at the table.
I'm gonna be an asshole and say this also in character. You should probably wake up Ardor as well.
I'll try.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
At this point, as you enter into the building, you would hear the sound of the stairs above, people coming down them. Apparently, Oleg wakes up early at this point in time.
As I come back. Alright, Oleg. They're here early. They're about an hour out. Jack, we're gonna have to eat breakfast after.
But it will get cold.
But it'll get cold.
I was going to ask for a bowl of that. There.
I mean, you have time to eat. We have an hour if we really want to.
Feel free.
Yeah, we're going to want someone at the
It should
gates
be
then.
consumed quickly.
Yep. That will be me. I'm going to go grab Kotek.
You're just going to move
Should
forward.
I looked at Oleg. Should I wake Broken and Svetlana?
I would let Boken know. Let Svetlana rest.
Oh, no.
If Boken's not a fan of them, he's likely to leave, so...
Well, I'll come over and shake Kotek. Get
What's going on?
Get downstairs and get your arm on.
J-
They're on
Jack
their
will,
way.
Jack will
Okay.
serve up Oleg some of the oatmeal.
He will take a bite, giving a good sniff before he does so. Oh. Interesting. Unique! It's I never tasted oatmeal like this before. What did you use?
Well, I used
Got like a earthy taste to it.
Yeah, that's probably the mugwort.
Mugwort.
Yes, and a few bits of Eye of Newt and that sort of stuff.
What?
Don't worry, it's nutritious.
Is it though?
It is.
Eyeballs are probably nutritious.
As he looks down at the bowl and there's like a little eyeball floating at the tip top.
Oh, come on. He would have mashed the eyeball.
He
Come
would.
on.
I'm just fucking with him.
Jeez.
He sees it in his mind's eye, though.
Mind's eye.
You know, well, it's good. Interesting. Yep.
I mean, think about think about most food. It's interesting. Eggs are just the children of chickens.
Oh,
He's out of line, but he's got a point.
how about this? When we're through with all this bandit business, you and I, we have a proper course in cooking. Show you the
Why-
spices and the herbs to use and the proper oatmeal.
I suppose that would be proper for an adventuring party such of ourselves to have someone who can do that, yes.
Normally you would use cinnamon, by the way, not eye of newt.
Oh, I suppose cinnamon would have been more appropriate. But eye of newt is just, it brings a unique texture to the flavor.
It certainly did. Yeah. It's not bad, to be clear. It's just unique.
Wait. Oh, God. Okay, well, as that conversation happens, Nazi stands there for a moment, contemplating, just looking at Ardor, before reaching over and kind of shaking his shoulder. Ardor, are you alive?
Do I wake up or
Up to you if you wanna
make
wake
a
up.
roll?
It's up to you.
You have to try one more time. He's deep sleeping. He grumbles a bit and he says something about like
Oh, no. Okay.
that Jew.
Oh. See, Nazi said he would try. He technically tried.
Why is
Disappointing.
small size? That's weird.
Disappointing.
I made myself small because I know the tavern goers
Oh,
are
yeah.
small. And I felt huge compared to them.
That's fair.
I guess I should ask how strongly did you shake him?
I mean, he grabbed his shoulder and did a couple, few shakes under. And that's essentially all he did. The first time.
Yeah, definitely the one more.
Composure check. Damn it, I made a composure check. You'll do it again, a bit more forcibly this time. Why, you
Yeah.
damn duck, wake up.
This time he wakes up for sure, and he suddenly jolts up, like doing a full sit up. His beak almost touches your face as he's just that quick, and he's like, "What?
Hot.
What?
What?
I know you're probably exhausted, but the bandits are underway.
Oh, they're here. You can tell it. Perfect. Yes. Oh,
Look, if you're up to helping, there's out of character, you're probably going to be fatigued
Yes.
at this point. If
If
you're
you
up to
do not
helping,
complete your long rest, you will be fatigued.
the plan was to have you hiding on the roof with your rifle, the roof of the inn. If we get into a fight, it should give you a good vantage point to shoot down on them.
then I can fall back asleep. Yes.
Yeah, so do as you will. Yeah,
I've spent so long on that. What do you? Okay.
Grumbling as Anasi moves over to Boken's bed.
Gently shake Broken's arm. Broken.
No, not there, no. What?
Owen said you might want to get down to here. The bandits are here early.
Oh, yeah. He, eyes go wide open, instantly awake. He jumps from the bed, blanket thrown to the floor, pushes into the side door here, grabs his pack. Yep, thanks for the heads up. I'm gonna go. He just full on just sprints down the stairs. As fast
Pretty
as one who
impressive.
has a bum leg can do.
As he's going, grab a bun of oatmeal from Jack first. He made it special for everyone.
Okay. Just runs through. Hey, oatmeal.
Yep.
Just grabs a bowl, runs around, jumps out. And
The one person who might appreciate the oatmeal.
it's true. He begins running as fast as he can. It's, about 20 feet for base speed. As he climbs up the fence here and just slowly lowers himself down. Still bowl in hand. Just books it out of the area.
I feel like it'd be hilarious if, as he's running out, we just hear him yell, "Is that mugwort?"
I mean, Ilfrin would hear that. But no one else would. Because he would have done that, taking the bite upon the wall fence before jumping down.
So he really did just fucking hop the fence, huh?
100%.
Holy shit, what a
Wow.
baller. Like, Ilfrin's a little impressed by that dude now. Alright, duly fucking noted.
Well, you didn't want to go through the gate, they would see him.
I'm glad we filled in the hole. He might have landed in it.
But did you? Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead,
just
Bert.
gonna say, did you did you tell anybody that you filled the hole other than the student that know?
He was not told about the
No.
hole.
I told no one.
Yep. And I haven't told anyone either, other than Ilfrey.
I barely even looked because I was busy worrying about bandits.
I
So,
did. And I definitely did not tell you.
Alright, so
I just woke you up and was like, "Hey, bandits, get ready, and if you're willing to fight while tired, go hide on the roof. And if a fight breaks down, you know what to do."
it's true. Does Ardor wake up and join the plan?
I feel like in his mind he's so confident that his trap is still there, and he has the upper hand. That he's like, yeah, this is his plans in full fruition. So I think he will, but he'd be like half asleep when he gets to the top of the roof.
Okay. You going to the stable roof or the inn roof?
Which is higher?
The inn. It's 2 floors. Alright. I forgot we named your cart the Quack Cart.
Did you really?
better than Crash Cart.
Alright.
And then I will make a stealth roll, I guess.
Yep, give me that stealth. For everyone else, feel free. You guys have an hour before they actually arrive. So you guys have time to prepare.
Alright, I'm gonna go outside and dig a pit. Fucking imagine.
I'm gonna spend 10 minutes to cast a spell.
Excellent.
You can't create pit.
I wish.
I assume you're going to. I'm going to eat some oatmeal
Mhm.
and then get my armor and whatnot on. And I'm actually going to take like 5 minutes to do a base polish. Just make it little extra
shiny.
And
Alright.
then, as Kotek, should we get everyone else outside? You mentioned putting some magic on us.
Yeah, I'll get on it right now. Just make sure to be by me in like 10 minutes.
You'll see Oleg grab a nearby crossbow and put it on the inside of the door here.
Mhm.
Like, lean it there, and he'll just, like... It'll be a doorway in case things go south.
I will remind you, I'm going to try to talk to them.
That's why it's not visible. Kind of taps the side of the door where the crossbow lies.
Oh, God. If a fight does break out and things start to go bad, get that line and get out of here. Don't worry about this.
Think it necessary. Alright.
Well, if things go poorly, as in me or Kotak or Ilfrin or any of us are going down, and it looks like we're about to lose.
Right, so you mean shit hit the fan poorly, not just bad.
No, yeah, no, if a fight breaks down, feel free to help. I'm not saying not to do that, but if it goes very poorly,
Right. All right. What is Jack doing to prepare?
Gonna go over his equipment, make sure it's all set up and ready for making the bombs and other stuff. I don't have any reagents to make potions currently.
Fireworks?
Yes.
I
Uh,
do how
Haven't
I
seen
do,
you guys since
however,
last
have
year.
4 minor.
Oh,
Hmm.
sorry.
I do, however,
I had
have
to.
4 minor potions. I will pass one out to each other person.
Hmm.
Keep your dad jokes to yourself.
So
Oh, wait, you're
Sorry.
in the future, Kotek. Forget about that.
it's true.
Yes, I'm under fire right now.
He's from the future.
Future man.
Happy
Fighter
New
of the
Year.
night man.
Likewise. I mean, in like 4 hours or 6.
You're correct on second one.
All right. I have made visible the bandits as they approach. You guys cannot actually see them because no one's on the wall. Besides Ardor, who can see them from their heightened vantage point of the roof. As they will make their way forward. Turning
I have a
first.
question.
Yes.
Jack,
We technically have an hour, and it takes 10 minutes to cast a spell.
Yeah.
You want me to do a skill check for him, or?
You have time. It's if it was like they're arriving within 30 minutes, I would require one. But I mean, an hour's 6 checks essentially, so it's fine.
Well, is your mic is hot peaking with like large sounds of like things falling over?
Jack's or Devil's mic's been having issues. So.
no, that was Kotek
Oh,
with
it's
fireworks.
yeah, fireworks. Kodak's fireworks.
I was barely. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
it's because it's New Year's. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But for yours, since you could spend hour 10 or minute 10, minute 20, minute 30, essentially double cast, you can hit the DC, no problem. It's non-issue. If you're wanting to do
fine.
more than just one spell, then we might need to make you some rolls.
After 10 minutes, I cast 2 spells. If I remember correctly. That's how it works.
Yeah.
One lasts 4 hours, one is sustained, so it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So what
Cool.
spells?
Very
What
nice.
spells are you putting on us?
I'm doing this, which is basically steady 2 to 3 different people. Myself, Jack, and Nazi.
Right, the three
What
of
does
you
steady do?
gives you plus
steady
2 to
two.
attack. If you select your token and you have the campaign window character update, you should see a steady from the drop down. You can just add that and it'll give you the property.
So just a 1 for that, or do we put in the value?
You want to put a 2. You want to put the
Okay,
value
so you put
of
in
the
the
steady.
value bonus. Okay, okay.
Ooh, under
So,
what?
Yep.
So hit your token, campaign frame,
Yeah.
there's the character update. On the very first tab, you want to find the steady. The property that says steady.
Okay, and
And
put 2
you
in there.
state. Yep.
All
Let's
right.
put a 2 there.
And as for another buff, or
Yeah, that's on myself. It's gonna be a shield.
oh, okay.
Oh,
So you have
okay.
a spell for you, spell for us. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. All right, and
I'll
for yourself, for Kotak, same thing. Just steady up, all that good stuff.
I like that it's a heart.
Sorry, I have to mute all the time because I don't wanna,
No, you're fine.
all good.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It is a little disturbing.
By the way, Jack, aren't you going to be somewhere hidden? Not
Yes,
just
I
in the
will.
kitchen?
I will hide like 15 minutes before they get here, or so.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just
Good.
wondering where you're going to be.
Yep. You need to place yourself where you would be during this fight.
How did you set it to
Okay.
2 again?
Just in the update, just mark the state as a 2, and then it'll be set. So it'll be like steady state. Default's to 0, but you can change it to steady state 2, and it'll be 2. Are you on the roof or are you in the building?
Building.
Okay, so there's doors here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me hide
Can't
the
see
roof so you
door,
can...
I'm sorry.
I didn't think people were going to go inside, so...
That's
Is
devil
there-
horsing
is-
around.
Actually, is there a better place to hide where I might be able to see the individuals? Like-
You can hide from up top the wall here, just like lay flat or...
Yeah, that's actually a good idea, because that would be harder to hit.
Mhm. All right, but you would be prone if you are laying flat.
Yeah. How high up is this?
The wall, I believe, is 20 feet. I'm sure it's 20 feet.
Man, I wonder how broken hurt his leg as he hopped the 20-foot wall.
Look, man, he's got powers that Nadine has.
Excuse me. He hopped the wall successfully. Okay.
It's true. But it is 20 feet, a 20-foot wall.
He probably got fucking like gnawed on by some creature. All right, don't judge him.
All right, and you're gonna be standing there, Kotek?
Yeah, just like not as far forward as Nazi, but like a little bit behind.
Okay. And Ilfrin, you're gonna be there?
Just ready to go in middle combat if needed.
Yeah, like, and as I described in my /me there, that Ilfrin isn't really acknowledging anyone else, just like tending to the fire, keeping himself
Excellent.
warm.
And Darcy would be in full armor, however, his shield would be on his back. Basic action to equip, but he is not. He doesn't have it out like he's ready to go.
Yeah.
I would be leaning against the cart as if I was expecting them.
All right. You'd hear footsteps from beyond the wall. Arter would see a figure approach the gate, but come out of view because angle and all that. And you'd hear a loud knocking upon the door. Open up! We'll toss some fire in there to speed your asses up!
Currently resisting the urge to toss fire over there to speed their asses up.
Well, I'm tempted to be a smart ass. I would just. Jack, would you mind, please?
Sure.
All right. Which door do you open? Left or right?
Probably the right one.
All right. Door opens, and as the door opens, you would see the group of 5 bandits with Haps riding upon a horse. And that will be where we call the session, because we're a little bit over.
Oh, what the hell?
I don't have a macro for this, but that's basically what it is I'm casting.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a Drums of War tonight. We could go late.
I mean, if people can go late, then you can do so. But
I have a Vampire the Masquerade
Okay.
Okay.
Who plays that
New
shitty game
Year's
anymore?
Eve
shots fired.
thing.
It's all good.
I mean, a lot of people play it. It's 5th edition
I know.
game.
I'm fucking with you. Like, it's a very interesting game or whatever.
It is.
Anyways.
But there you go. I hope you guys had fun. Hope stream enjoyed the game. Next session should be the diplomacy, maybe? I mean, with that introduction, we'll find out.
Diplomacy?
Yeah.
With some
Oatmeal?
oatmeal.
Oatmeal? But, you know,
Bird?
I'm good to go next week. So,
Yep, so am I.
Same.
diplomacy.
Look,
Probably.
I'm good.
Works for me.
aggressively diplomatic.
Aggressively.
Mm-hmm. But
Man.
we shall rave Steve's sketches because he's sketching some pretty fancy stuff. He's early on in the process
Awesome.
and looks of it, so. I was going to say painting, but he's not quite the color portion yet.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah. And next session, we'll have the introduction of the bandits themselves, rather than just, random thylacines.
You know,
Pretty good
kill
stuff.
the hell out of them. I mean,
You'll
diplomacize.
diplomatize the hell out of them. You know?
You know, if you just didn't fill up that hole.